stream again. To anyone tuning in, thank you so much. Oh, Jacket, thank you for tuning in already. Looking here before the stream even started. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Another day. You already know what we're doing today. A tier list. We love doing these tier lists over here, so decided, you know what? What was I saying last night? I think last night I said I was going to play Legends Arceus all day today. And then I was thinking about it, I'm like, wait, I said I was going to do a Hoenn tier list on Monday, and tomorrow's going to be Thursday, and I haven't done it yet. So we're doing the Hoenn tier list today. Let me just check and make sure the Twitch stream... Why is it showing someone else's... Dude, one thing I don't like about Twitch, I'll note, is that when you pull it up, it instantly starts playing just some random stream. I'm like, sorry, but I don't specifically want to watch that. Oh, wow. Oh, my God. So I'm in my Twitch stream. I got it pulled up, so it's working. Everything's going good. Someone was watching me last night, because I'm in my own stream right now. Oh, no, it says one now, so never mind. It might have just been me. I was hyped. I'm like, we got someone watching on Twitch yesterday. But then I was like, well, you know what? It's probably just me in the stream watching myself. So, I was like, that's probably it. Yo, your long-lost father, thank you for tuning in. Anyone tuning in, I appreciate it. I thank you all so very much. What we are doing today is another tier list, like I said. I love doing these tier lists. It's so much fun. The one we are doing today might be one of my favorite ones I have done yet. We are doing Hoenn. Puffton, thank you for tuning in as well. I appreciate it. The tier list we are doing today is Hoenn. Is there 135 Pokemon in the Hoenn Dex? Hey, let me pull up Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go is the go-to for the Pokédex for me. I'm like, I got gens 1 to 3 fully completed. So yeah, Hoenn, 135 Pokemon in Hoenn. So we're gonna be going through and doing this tier list. Actually, one thing I was interested in is how long I talk about these tier lists, because let me see. The last one, the Gen 2 tier list, the Johto one, that was what, 100, I think it's 100 Pokemon, and it took 2 hours to do the tier list. What about Kanto? Ranking every see, that's the stream. Gen 1, maybe? I don't even remember what I titled the stream. Okay, Gen 1, so Gen 1 was an hour 47. And that's 151 Pokemon. I must have just not been babbling on as much and talking about as much stuff. With the Hoenn one today, though, yo, this one I am so excited for. Because Hoenn is, without a shadow of a doubt, my favorite gen in Pokemon. It's my absolute favorite Pokemon gen there is. I love it so much. It's so cool. It's like the first one I have really good memories of from when I was little. Like, I've mentioned, like, I remember opening up, like, Skyridge packs and that type of stuff. But I remember, like, the main thing for me was the toys and the anime. I remember watching the anime so vividly when I was younger. That was like the first one I have memories of watching, the Hoenn anime. And then the toys and stuff from that. Dude, I remember playing with all those and stuff. Like, I have this Salamence one still on my shelf right over there that I had from when I was little. Like, the toys from that generation were so awesome and stuff. Like, everything about it. Then the cards as well. The EX Ruby and Sapphire era with the Gold Star cards. I mean, first of all, the starters, the legendaries. It has 2 pseudo-legendaries. And mind you, those, in my opinion, are the 2 best pseudo-legendaries there is. Like, everything about Hoenn and Generation 3 is peak. It's so good. It's like, it's literally perfection. And when I was making the thumbnail for this stream today, I make, like, the tier list. I think I put God S and F tier in the thumbnail. I was going through and instantly I'm like, oh, this is easy for good Pokemon to put. But I'm like, what Pokemon should I put in F tier? And I'm going on and I'm looking and I'm like, this might be a spoiler for the tier list. There isn't really an F tier Pokemon in Hoenn. Like, Hoenn doesn't really have a bad Pokemon. I mean, we've had many instances where we're not even mentioning the names of the stuff. It's so bad we're putting it down in disgusting tier. But I'm like, we might not even have anything for F tier today with this stream, that's just how good Hoenn is. Hoenn is just at a different level. It's, like I said, my favorite generation. The memories I have of it when I was little with the toys, the anime, the cards, everything about it is just, it's so good. It is absolute perfection. We wish the Pokemon generations from, like, today or the most recent one, like, we wish they were as good as this one right here. It's so good. Let's get into it. Hopping over the tier list. Here we go. As we always do with the tier list, at the top we have God tier. Then following it, we have S, A, B, C, D, F, and then disgusting tier down at the bottom. But like I said, with this one right here, we might not even have anything in disgusting tier. Yo, Golden Koopa, thank you for tuning in. Puffin literally just walked in the house from work. Hey, Puffin, I hope you had a good day today. Thank you. Look at that, tuning in as soon as you get home. I appreciate it. So perfect timing. With the tier list here, I want to make something clear at the start because last one we did was the Johto one, and there were some, I assume, new people watching it because a couple people were confused as to how we were ranking all the different Pokemon. Now, when I'm doing this, it's not based on anything specific. I'm not doing this tier list based on Pokemon in, like, competitiveness with, like, Gen, or with, like, OU or VGC. I'm not doing this based on the cards they have had over the years. I'm not doing this based solely on their looks. I'm not doing this based on how easy they are to get in the games. I am doing this tier list based on everything there is about each Pokemon. It's like a overarching view and theme to capsulate the entire Pokemon as a whole. This isn't meant to be like one specific narrow view as to how I'm doing this. This is just honestly my personal opinion on how much I like. Sorry, my voice is like dying right now. It feels like from I don't know why. This is bad. I've had this cough and stuff like I've been telling you guys. Maybe it's because we were reading for 4 hours out loud yesterday. My voice decides to die out today for the tier list, but we're good. We're fighting through. But with this, like, this tier list isn't meant to be like about one specific thing. Like, I'm not doing this like the VGC competitive scene tier list or anything like that. Or I'm not doing it based on like which Pokemons have the coolest plushies or something like that. No. I'm doing this, I'm looking at all these Pokemon based on just simply how much I like them, and I take into account everything about that Pokemon when determining that. So without further ado, let's get into the tier list, shall we? Let's get on into this tier list right here. I love doing these because, dude, we just get to talk about Pokemon for, hours upon hours, because, like, normally we sit here and we talk about all kinds of stuff, but, like, this gives us a specific Pokemon each time to talk about. These are so much fun to do. I can't wait to do this one. This is going to be such a good tier list right here. And again, going into it, this might be spoilers. There isn't a bad Pokemon in Hoenn. I'm scrolling through real quick. I just want to make sure. Is this wrong? Luminese, to the right of Plusle and Minun. Those are Gen 3? I was gonna put those in the F tier for the thumbnail, but I thought they were always in Hoenn, and then they were actually in Johto. Oh, good lord, they are in Hoenn. Oh, my bad. I literally thought, we'll get to those things. I'll explain that again when we get to there, but let's get into the tier list. How about it? Starting off with the very first Pokemon we have on here. Trico. Easy S tier. Trico is just literally perfect. The tree gecko Pokemon. I love the one in the anime with Ash. He had like the stick always hanging out of his mouth. It was like the Hoenn starter that Ash really had in the anime and all that stuff. Trico's shiny. The shiny's okay, I will admit. But like, this is a Pokemon to where like, the shiny doesn't matter. It looks so good as is. Like, the shiny is irrelevant, if I'm being completely honest. Trico is such a phenomenal Pokemon. And if I'm being honest, like, I'm gonna throw Grovyle right up there as well in S tier. Like, Grovyle is a phenomenal design as well. I want to put Grovyle in S tier as well. Grovyle's in S tier. Grovyle's an awesome design. I remember when I was little, I had a toy of Grovyle, and it has that one big leaf coming off the back of its head, and I broke that leaf off its head, so I had a Grovyle with the missing leaf up on the top of its head. I played with when I was little all the time. But Grovyle is is an awesome Pokemon as well. No doubt about that. This whole line, like Sceptile's... Oh, whoa. Sceptile. He's going up there as well. I mean, easy to start. First Pokemon, first 3, the grass type starter from Hoenn, easy all S tier. Like, there's no question about that. These 3 Pokemon right here are all just, I mean, peak. This is one of the best starters there is. Trico, Grovyle, Sceptile. We were looking at the top 30 rankings for Pokemon, and Sceptile was up there at like 28 or something like that. Like, these are phenomenal Pokemon right here. Then moving on, we have the fire type starter, the Fire Chicken. Now, I will note, I don't necessarily love these 3 as much as I love the grass types. So I'm going to put Torchic and Combuskin both in A tier. I'm not putting them up in S tier. And again, by no means am I saying they're bad. I mean, A tier's, that's up there. That's still doing good. But by no means am I saying these 3 are bad. But like, I mean, like, I can't put them on the same level as Trico, Grovyle at the start here. Like, I just can't. Your long lost father, worst of the 3. Exactly. And like, by saying that, I feel a lot of people get, what do you mean they're the worst ones? Like, no. When I say, I'm not saying that they're like bad by any means. I'm just saying, out of the 3 starters there are, these are the worst ones. Like, I mean, there's only 3 of them, so it's like, it's not like it's that big of a deal. But Blaziken's going up in S tier for me. Blaziken, easy S tier for me. Do I put it above? Yeah, I'm going to put it above Trico for now. I'm going to leave Blaziken above Trico for now, just because it's the final evolution. I'll put it up there. But one thing I will note about Blaziken, the fire on its wrists. You can see here, Blaziken does not have the fire on its wrists right there. It only has it, I believe, when it's attacking with, like, the newer sprites and stuff. But back in the day, when it was, like, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Black and White, like, DS-type sprites before they went to the 3D sprites, the fire was, like, coming out of its wrists at all times. And, dude, it looked so cool. It was so awesome seeing that just always there. Now they just got rid of it, and it's like, it's, alright, whatever. It is what it is. But, like, it still looks cool, though. It's the same thing with Typhlosion. With the fire coming out of it, it's like if they gave it the Mega Charizard X treatment where the fire is coming out of its mouth at all times, like if the fire was coming out of the wrists at all times, it'd be so much better, but like it's still good regardless. Like that doesn't take too much away from it. It isn't as big of a deal as it is on Typhlosion, but it is still something that like is noticeable that I do want to point out. But Torchic and Combuskin, like they're fine. I have nothing really against them. It's just like, I don't want to put them on the same level as I'm putting like Trico and Grovyle, because I think those 2 are just different level. They're so good. But then moving on, we have Swampert, Marshtomp, and Mudkip, the water type starters from Hoenn. Now, when we looked at the top 30 rankings for Pokemon from that Google survey that Google did back in 2020 with Pokemon, these were rated the worst out of the 3, or I should say, not these 3 as a whole. I do take that back. Swampert was the lowest rated out of the 3 Hoenn starters, which shocked me. I believe it went Sceptile, Blaziken, Swampert. And like Sceptile and Blaziken were side by side, and then Swampert was a little way down. I had always thought it was Sceptile, Swampert side by side, and then Blaziken a little ways down. Turns out, the people at least that voted in that poll, they went Sceptile, Blaziken, and then Swampert's a little ways down. That honestly surprised me so much, because for me, Swampert is right up here with Sceptile, and I definitely like Swampert better than Blaziken. This is one, like when we did the pseudo-legendary tier list, I always go back to this, because this is my clearest example of this. We were debating between Dragonite and Tyranitar. Which one will we put higher? And I literally said, like, it just comes down to the day. If you ask me on Monday, I might say Dragonite, and by the time Friday rolls around, if you ask me, I might say Tyranitar. Like, those 2, it's literally the flip of a coin for which one I like better, and honestly, these 2 are the same way. Swampert and Sceptile. They're both, like, I mean, I don't even know what to say. Both of them look phenomenal. Both of them have, like, okay shinies. I don't necessarily love either of their shinies. All of the Hoenn starters, I don't necessarily love any of their shinies. I will note, I do think Swampert would have the best one out of the 3 if I absolutely had to pick. But both of them have Megas, and both the Megas are phenomenal. Swampert gets absolutely yoked out of his mind, and then Sceptile has, like, he turns into a dragon grass type, and launches his tail off like a rocket ship Christmas tree. It is absolutely insane. Seeing in the anime with Sawyer having the Mega Sceptile was so cool, and I'm just like, man, I kind of wish we had seen some more of Swampert as well, because like we saw how cool it was to see Sceptile. We saw Blaziken mask with a Mega Blaziken, and we just never really got the Mega Sceptile in the anime as we did the other two, with the anime being Pokemon X and Y. But it's just, they're so good. These three are so good right here. These three starters. This is the best starter trio. This is the best starter trio there is in Pokemon. I was gonna say I don't think there's any question about that, but people will most definitely argue for Gen 1 Kanto, and I'm like, now I know I started this saying like this is the generation I have the most fondest memories of from when I was little, so you would obviously assume that I have some biases towards this. Yo, well sourced, thank you for tuning in. With me saying like this is the one I remember the most from when I was little, and like looking into it with that perspective, like you would think that I would have some nostalgia bias towards this stuff, which I probably do to a degree, but like for the most part, like I don't feel that way myself too much. I will note with the cards, 1000%. With the Generation 3 cards, the EX Ruby and Sapphire era, the gold stars, the hollows from that, I have bias towards that, the lowercase EXs. That's nostalgia bias for me. That's why I think those are the best without a doubt. But for this generation as a whole, this starter trio, like, honestly, this is the best starter trio there is. I will note, Kanto, they have the best shinies out of those three. But like, if we were to get all of these Pokemon today, and we looked at them if we, picture this, if we saw every single starter for the first time right now, and I'm not saying like you could do this right now, get someone that's never heard of Pokemon before or isn't a Pokemon fan, show them every single starter trio and ask them which is their favorite one. That's kind of different than what I'm getting at right here. I'm getting at, imagine if we were still all Pokemon fans and we just never had the starters. Like, but Pokemon's been a thing, we've been following Pokemon, like we like Pokemon and are Pokemon fans, and then we see every starter trio for the first time. Or imagine if all of us that like Pokemon, they erase a specific memory in our brain. They erase the starters. We completely forget the starters existed and everything about them. And then we get shown every starter trio all together at once. Which would we pick as our favorite? I genuinely believe the majority of people would look to Hoenn and say that's the best starter trio out of all of them. Now, Kanto is really good. I mean, I have nothing against Kanto. I have nothing against Venusaur, Blastoise, or Charizard. I love those. Charizard is, like, makes up my favorite Pokemon, some of my favorite Pokemon cards of all time. Mega Charizard X is my favorite Pokemon design of all time. I love how we had the Megas for Venusaur and Blastoise as well. Like I said, their Shinies are great. Their Gigantamax forms are phenomenal. They've had awesome cards over the years. But I can't deny that it's, like, whenever someone says, like, that's the best trio, like, I have to think that it's heavy bias. It has to be, because, like, I mean, if I'm being honest, it's not even, like, a bad thing that it's nostalgia bias, but it's, like, that's a good thing, because, like, that's the OG3. Like, they should be some of the best. It's cool that we look back on, like, the original ones. Like, I mentioned when we did the games, the tier list with the Pokemon games, how Gen 1, Pokemon Red and Blue, like, I'm like, those are the worst games, and that's good, because that meant things only got better from there. Like, this is different with the starters, because, like, it's fine that people look back at the original starters as being the best, because it's, like, it shows how good stuff was from the beginning. But I do feel that a lot of the Gen 1 starters is the best, is driven by nostalgia, and I genuinely think if you were to erase the memories of the starters in your minds and looked at every starter trio right now, most people would look at the Hoenn starter trio and say that's the best one, because they are absolute peak. They are so good. And dude, I don't even have a Mudkip and Marshtomp ranked, and I'm babbling on about this stuff over here. Marshtomp I'm gonna put up there. Actually, no, I'm putting Marshtomp in S tier. Who am I kidding? Marshtomp's going up in S tier. I'm putting him above Grovyle, though. I do like Marshtomp more than Grovyle. I don't like Mudkip more than Trico, but I like Mudkip more than Marshtomp. So we'll throw all those up there. Look, starting off strong with this tier list, with all the S tier and A tier at the start there. And I will note, this is going to be a top-heavy tier list. Like, honestly, there's nothing in disgusting. I can assure you that right now. There might not even be anything in F tier for this generation. This gen is just, it's so good. There's so many good Pokemon. If I allowed my Pokemon Unite bias to trickle into this tier list a little too much, Absol could be down there pretty low. But Absol is an awesome design, so I'm not going to do that to him. I won't do that to Absol, but let's get into the remainder of this tier list, shall we? Let's move on over to Poochyena. Now, Poochyena, I mean, it's fine. Like, Poochyena and Mightyena, they're cool Pokemon. They have cool shinies. They're like gold, if I'm not mistaken, when they turn shiny. Awesome designs. Don't really have anything bad to say about them. I loved how Team Magma and Team Aqua, like, that was one of like their main Pokemon that they rolled with. The Poochyena, Mightyena, and then who's the other one they always had, actually? I don't even remember off the top of my head. It might come to me as we go through and do this. Oh, Crawdaunt. Crawdaunt was what it was. Crawdaunt was what a lot of them had as well, too. Team Aqua had Crawdaunt. But I always remember seeing these with, like, the bad guys during, hey, long lost father, have to go, have a nice day. I appreciate you taking the time to tune in, man. Thank you so much. Hope you have a great rest of your day as well. But yeah, Poochyena and Mightyena, nothing bad to say about them. Easy B tier right there. And one thing, I don't know if I mentioned this already as well. God tier is for, like, the single best Pokemon there is from Hoenn. S tier is elite, like the best of the best. A tier is really, really good. B tier is above average. C tier is average. D tier is below average. F tier is bad. Disgusting is disgusting. That's kind of how we rank it. So disgusting is obviously worst. F tier, bad. D tier, below average. C tier is average for this. Like I said, B tier is above average. A tier is really good. S tier is phenomenal. And God tier is simply the best. That's how I go through and do this if I didn't mention that already. And with that being said, I'm putting Zigzagoon and Linoon down in C tier. I think they're cool. I love the regionals. I love Galarian Zigzagoon, Galarian Linoon, and Obstagoon. Their shinies are really cool too. Not even the Galarian shinies are cool, but just the normal shinies as well. They're white and orange. Like, these are cool Pokemon, but like, nah, you know what? I'll bump Zigzagoon up. I like Zigzagoon. I don't like Linoon too much, but, like, it's not a bad Pokemon. Like, it's cool. I'm going to leave it in there, but B tier for Zigzagoon for sure. Then we have Wurmple. Is Cascoon, right? I know it's Beautifly and Dustox. I believe it's Let me check. It is Cascoon, right? I'm saying that name right? I'm not getting it wrong. I'm not butchering the name. I'm not talking about for 20 minutes how Hoenn's my favorite generation. Then we go, we're barely into the tier list, and I'm getting the name wrong already. It's Silcoon and Cascoon, right? Silcoon and Cascoon. Silcoon evolves into Beautifly. Cascoon evolves into Dustox. Got it. All right. Moving on to these right here. Like, these are awesome Pokemon as well. Wurmple's cool. I like Wurmple. He's going up in B tier. I'll put it above Poochyena. I like Wurmple. These things are fine. Like, honestly, I'm going to put Silcoon and Cascoon side by side. I'm honestly kind of indifferent to them. Like, they look fine. It's cool. It's like the cocoon type Pokemon. Like, they're cool in that sense. I think I like that concept of it. It's cool to see. And then the next ones, Beautifly and Dustox. Like, both of these are good Pokemon. I'm putting them both in B tier, and I like Dustox more than Beautifly, and they're actually going to go, to the top of B tier right here. Yeah, let's do that. Wurmple's got a cool shiny. Wurmple's shiny's purple. Beautifly is a cool Pokemon. I don't recall what its shiny looks like, but Dustox is really cool as well. There is a Psychic-type Dustox EX card from the Ruby and Sapphire era. I don't recall specifically what set it was from. All I do know is that it was awesome. I love those EXs from that generation. You guys know I love the lowercase EXs. The Ruby and Sapphire era, one of my favorite gens there is in Pokemon. Like, it's so cool. And Dustox I've just always thought was a cool Pokemon. If I'm not mistaken, in the anime, May had a Beautifly, and then Team Rocket had a Dustox. I believe that's how it went. And Dustox I've always just thought was so cool. The moth Pokemon. Then Beautifly, obviously a butterfly Pokemon. Like, they're so cool. So cool for sure. And this next one right here. You already know. Lotad, Lombre, and Ludicolo. I mean, easy S tier. Easy S tier for this trio right here. No, Ludicolo, what's happening? There we go. Easy S tier for this trio right here. I'm gonna put those down there. In Ludicolo, I'm gonna put Ludicolo above Blaziken. This trio, oh, I love them so much. These three are so cool. Obviously, we did the Lotad Shiny Hunt in, the Kitakami in the teal mask. Lotad is such a cool Pokemon. The shiny's purple. Now, the shinies are fine for Lotad and Lombre. Ludicolo, I really like the shiny as well. But, like, everything about these things, man. Like, Ludicolo is based on a pineapple. It's got, like, a sombrero on its head, and it's always dancing. Like, its name, Rumpapa in Japanese. It's so cool. It's such an awesome design. It has a card from EX Crystal Guardians. I almost said EX Dragon Frontiers. I'm like, I can't get the name of this wrong. It is a card from EX Crystal Guardians. A fire-type Delta species Ludicolo. Ludicolo is a grass water type. And now he gets the fire-type Delta species card. And it's Ludicolo standing there, leaning against some red crystals. And Ludicolo's, like, on fire. It is one of the coolest Pokemon cards of all time. One of my favorite Pokemon cards of all time. And because of that, I've just always loved Ludicolo. It was like, that's one of the cards, like I mentioned when we were doing the stream the other night, when we were looking at eBay at all the different Pokemon cards. I'm like, Gold Star Gyarados is one of the ones I've always really liked the most, because me and my friends would always look at cards on eBay, and we were always so fascinated by the fire-type Gyarados and thought it was so cool, because Gyarados is a water type. Here we have a red Gyarados because it's shiny. That's a fire type. We always thought that was super cool. Ludicolo was the same way. We're like, Ludicolo's a grass water type, and it's got a fire type card. Like, that is so cool. So we've always loved that card. I've always loved that card specifically, and Ludicolo's always been one of my favorite Pokemon. Not even just from Hoenn, but just one of my favorite Pokemon overall. It is such a awesome Pokemon. Then moving on down here, we have Seedot, Nuzleaf, and Shiftry. Now this tree, like, Nuzleaf I've always thought was kind of weird, if I'm being honest. Seedot's cool, and Shiftry's a good Pokemon as well. Shiftry I'm going to put at the top of A. Now, you know what? Seedot I'll put side by side with Nuzleaf. Like, those two aren't that different. I mean, it's an acorn Pokemon, but Shiftry I've always loved. Shiftry, for me, it was, I don't think it was last summer, but maybe the summer before. I was always finding wild Shiftry in Pokemon Go. I don't know what it was. Shiftry I've always just thought was an awesome Pokemon. Like, its design is just so cool. One thing I've always wondered, though, its feet. Look at Shiftry's feet. It's like got a flat foot, but it's got like a bar sticking out of the bottom of the foot. Like, how does Shiftry walk around like that? I mean, maybe it doesn't need to walk around. Maybe it's because it's leaping through the trees and all that stuff. But Shiftry I've always thought was a awesome Pokemon. Again, like, this is just a basic Pokemon, like, at the start of the generation. Like, we're still in, like, the Route 1 type Pokemon right here. And, like, look at the design. Look at Shiftry. Look how phenomenal that design is. It's just absolutely insane, dude. Gen 3 is just, it's a work of art. It is so good. Now we go on with the regional bird. We have Talo and Swellow. Now, I've always liked these. Now, I do have a bias towards these because of the anime. Because Ash had one in the anime. I remember watching it do that combo with Pikachu, the Volt Tackle, when it went all crazy electric and all that stuff. Like, I will come out here and just say straight up that I have a bias towards Talo and Swellow. I am not denying that whatsoever. But with that being said, like, I think they're really good. I like them. Talo I'm putting there, and Swellow I'm putting up in A tier. Swellow I've always liked. I've always thought it was a cool Pokemon. You can do, like, a Gut Swellow, which is pretty fun to use. It has a good shiny as well. Swellow I've just always thought was a good Pokemon. I've always thought it was cool. Then, in the anime, one of the gym leaders has a shiny one, right? Or no. Is it one of, like, the Battle Frontier people? One of them might be the one with the shiny Swellow. I might be mistaken there with the gym leader aspect of it. I know there's a shiny Swellow in the anime, though. Nonetheless, Swellow's awesome. I like Swellow. Then here we go with the Seagull Pokemon. I'm drawing a blank. I know it's Pelipper. What's the name? Is it Wingull? Wingull. How did I forget Wingle's name? Wingull and Pelipper. I like these as well. Pelipper's an A tier Pokemon. I've always liked Pelipper. Wingull I'm going to put down here in C tier. Like, it's kind of, I've never really been the biggest fan of Wingull. Kind of indifferent to it. It's fine. But Pelipper, I like. Now, see, this is an instance of how I like these Pokemon, like, being because of different reasons. Pelipper I love using in, I've always used it in a rain team. In any showdown team I've made or teams I've made in the normal Pokemon games, whether it be OU or VGC, like Pelipper, Drizzle, Damprock. I've used that on every rain team I've ever used. And I had a team for Gen 7 OU where it was Pelipper, Drizzle with Damprock, and then I had Mega Swampert with Swift Swim, Ludicolo with Swift Swim, I had Kingdra with Swift Swim, and I had Beartic with Swift Swim. And then, obviously, Pelipper was on the team, and then the 6th and final Pokemon was I had a Metagross on there as well. That team was so much fun to use, and Pelipper was the backbone of that, putting up the rain for the boys to go out and ball. It was so cool. Pelipper, I've always liked it. It has a rather cool shiny as well. It turns green and stuff, so Pelipper's up there for sure in A tier for me. Again, this gen is like, it's going to be seriously top heavy because all these Pokemon are just simply so good. Psyduck Pro, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. And then oh my god, look, dude, we're just getting into heat after heat after heat after heat. Now we have Gardevoir. Like, I mean, Gardevoir's at, whoa. Sorry, technical difficulties there. Gardevoir's S tier. Gardevoir is S tier for sure. Now, I'm not going to put Gardevoir above... No, I can't put Gardevoir below Trico, can I? Nah, I don't think I'm going to put Gardevoir below Trico. I'm going to put Gardevoir below Blaziken, though. Gardevoir's up there. It's such a cool design. Curly, honestly, Curly, I've never really liked too much. I'm going to put Curly in B tier. I'll put it down here in B tier. Ralts, I do like. Ralts is an S tier design, actually. Nah, Ralts is going up S tier. Look at that. S tier's already got 2 rows of Pokemon going for it now. We're barely at the start. Like, correct list so far. Yo, Psyduck Pro, I appreciate that. Like, dude, Hoenn's so good. Hoenn is such a good gen. Like, normally when we do these tier lists, people are like, oh, I like this instead of that, or that instead of this, or you put this bad. I can't believe you said this bad thing about this Pokemon. Like, I wonder if people are going to get mad at this one because I don't have anything bad to say about these Pokemon. They're all just so good. They're all so cool. Ralts is an S tier design for sure. I'm trying to think. Do I put it above Lotad or Lombre? I don't know. Ralts does have a better shiny than the two. Ralts was the first ever full odds shiny I found in a Pokemon game. So because of that, I'm going to put it just below Mudkip. I'm going to bump it up because of that. For those that I haven't heard before, actually, I don't even know. Surely I've told this story before. So my first ever full odds shiny in a Pokemon game came in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. I was down in the underground playing, just running around. I think I was looking for a Ralts. I was looking for a female Ralts because my team I was trying to make, this is post-game, I was trying to make a Hoenn team. I had Blaziken as my starter, I had Salamence and Metagross as the 2, pseudo-legendaries. I had my Lotic, I had a shiny Slacking I had brought over from Pokemon Go, and then I wanted a Ralts on the team as well. Or Gardevoir, sorry. Wanted a Gardevoir on the team, and I needed a female Ralts. So I go down in the underground, because that's where Ralts spawn, and I'm just looking for it. And I'm pretty sure it was the first female Ralts that spawned. It was one of the first ones that I saw. Or no, it wasn't even female, actually. Never mind. I take that back, because this ties into the story some more. One of the first Ralts I see ends up being shiny. I couldn't believe it. I have like pictures and stuff of it. It was insane. My first ever full odds shiny in a Pokemon game. It was absolutely insane. But the problem was, it was male. Now, for those that don't know, in Diamond and Pearl, Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, generation number 4 as a whole, if you have a female Ralts, it evolves to Gardevoir. If you have a male Ralts, it evolves to Gallade, because Gen 4 is the generation where Gallade was introduced. And I'm like, well, I don't want a shiny Gallade. Gardevoir is way cooler than Gallade, especially for a shiny, and there was no way to evolve it to Gardevoir in the game. So what I did was I traded it to my brother. He transferred it to Pokemon Home, and then transferred it to Pokemon Sword and Shield, where in Sword and Shield, he evolved it to a Gardevoir, because in that game, I guess you're able to evolve a male Ralts into a Gardevoir. So he evolved it to a Gardevoir in Sword and Shield, transferred it to Home, transferred it to his Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl game, and then traded it back over to me, and I managed to get this shiny awesome. I still have it on that account. I can show it on the... on Diamond and Pearl. I think I think I have shown on stream before. Surely I have once before, but that was my first ever full odds shiny, and it's just I always liked Ralts and Gardevoir before, but because of that, I like them even more now. It's so cool that I got those. I got them in the underground and stuff. It was awesome. I don't like the games too much. I've said that many times before, but like getting that from that is like a cool memory to have. Now we have Surskit and Masquerain. Surskit's the one that beat up Pikachu in what was it, Gen 6, right? In X and Y. It was that bug gym at the start, right? Surskit beat up Pikachu and everyone was all mad. But Surskit's an okay design. I'll put it up in B tier. Masquerain I've always thought was rather cool as well. I'll put that in B tier also. I'll put it up a little more. Yeah, I'll put it up there. I've always thought it was a cool design. I've never like loved it, never hated it though, but like I will admit that like it's a good design. So I'm not gonna put it in C tier. I don't want to put it in A tier, but B tier is a solid spot for it. Now we have Shroomish and Breloom. Now Shroomish I'm gonna put in B tier. It's fine. It has a cool shiny, I will note that. But Breloom is easy A tier. Breloom's a really cool Pokemon. Some people might put it S tier. I think Breloom's up in A tier. Like I've always kind of liked Breloom. I feel like this is a Pokemon that's like, it needs something else. Or it's like, may not need something else, but it looks like a Pokemon that would get something else, doesn't it? Like, it doesn't look like something that would be like Mega type level, or even like Gigantamax type stuff, but like a regional. Doesn't this seem like the perfect Pokemon to get a regional? Some people might ask for another evolution, but I don't think Breloom needs an evolution. I think there's too great of a risk of that ruining it if they give it an evolution. I do think, though, that a regional form would be really cool for Breloom. Because, like, Breloom's a really cool Pokemon. A lot of people really like it. And then, how we've seen the regionals in the past, like, pretty much every regional's cool in some way. So if they decide to give old Breloom a regional form, I would be all here for it. I think that would be awesome. And we just only bring Breloom higher up on the list. Because I got him pretty high up there already. I got him high up in there in A tier, but I do like it. I've always just felt, like I said, though, it could use something else. And I think it's such an easy opportunity for them to give it something. Because, like, it's like Breloom and Shroomish are based on, like, mushrooms and stuff. And, like, any plant-based Pokemon, like, it's so easy to make regionals of that. Because, like, there's so many different plants in so many different parts of the world. So it's, like, that's such an easy thing for them to do. So hopefully one day we'll get the Breloom regional form. I would absolutely love that. But these next ones right here. Oh my gosh, this next group right here. Slackoth, Vigoroth, and Slacking. These three right here, I absolutely love. Some of my favorite Pokemon of all time. Now, I'm not putting them on B tier here. We're literally just getting to the point to where there's a bunch already up here, and I got to put them there to then move them up even higher. Is Slacking God tier? No, I'm not going to put a God tier. These are all S tier, though, for me. These are all S tier for me easily. I'll put Slackoth there. Vigoroth I'll put just below the starters. And Slacking, for me... do I put it above Swampert? Nah, I don't think I put it above Swampert. But Slacking, for me, is one... I've always loved this thing, man. It is so cool. It has the same base stat total as the box legendaries from its generation. Slacking has the same base stat totals as Kyogre and Groudon. Just think about that for a second. Same base stat totals as the box legendaries from its generation. That, like, and the cool part about it too is Kyogre and Groudon share the same amount of box legendaries. Kyogre and Groudon share the same base stat total, and then Slacking shares that as well. It is just. It's just so cool. I have always loved Slacking. I've always thought it was a super cool Pokemon. In the anime, the normal type gym leader, I believe his name's Norman, who's May's dad. May and it's James, right? That's her brother. Those two, their dad, he's the normal type gym leader. He fights with the Slackoth, Vigoroth, and Slacking. Like, I remember that anime episode so well. It was so cool. And Slacking, I like the shiny. Catching in Pokemon Go. I made a video catching this thing. My first wild Slacking I caught in Pokemon Go. It was insane. It was one of the first videos on my channel. And I said in the video, like, at the time, it might have been one of the highest wild CP spawns ever in Pokemon Go. It was insane. It was absolutely insane. 3,900 CP in the wild back in 2021. It might have been even 2020 now that I think of it. It was so crazy, so cool. Like, Slaking is easily not just one of my favorite Pokemon in Hoenn, but one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. Now, one thing I want to say about Slaking, they did him so dirty, man. Pokemon, the TCG, Slaking didn't get a single special card until the Pokemon Go set, which came out in 2020, I believe. No, 2022. 2022, what am I saying? 2022, it was June 2022, the Pokemon Go set came out. And Slaking got a V and a full art V card. Those were the first ever special cards Slaking got in the history of the TCG. I'm like, could you imagine how cool it would have been if the original EX cards, the Ruby and Sapphire era EX cards, if those cards gave us a EX Slaking? That would have been what, if no matter what the artwork was, just the sparkling borders in the lowercase EX alone, that would have been one of my favorite Pokemon cards of all time. Hands down, no questions asked. That thing would have been so cool. Unfortunately, we never got it, but we did end up getting something, and we actually pulled it. I think one of my brothers pulled it. We were opening up a Alolan Executor V box, and one of them pulled the full art Slaking, and I have it on my shelf right over there. That's such an awesome card, dude, because like Slaking, like I said, it's like always been one of my favorite Pokemon, and it never got anything cool in the TCG, and then for it to finally get that full art just made me so happy, man. Slaking, such an awesome Pokemon. Definitely having it up there in S tier for sure, without a doubt. Then this next one right here, Ninjask, Shedinja, and what's the first one called? They're based on cicadas, which is cool. They got the forms perfect, because the first one is like the little larva thing when it comes crawling out of the ground. Then you have Shedinja that looks like the normal cicada. Then you have Ninjask. Sorry, I'm getting the names all wrong. Let me pull it up in the decks here. Nincada. Nincada's cool. This whole trio is really cool. Nincada's cool. It's like the larva type cicada. When you see them like first crawling out of the ground, that's kind of what they look like. I'm gonna put it in, I'll leave it in B tier. I think B tier is a fine spot for it. But then you have Ninjask, who's insanely fast and super cool. Like, Ninjask I've always thought was like, this thing just looks awesome. I'm putting it up in A tier. I'm not gonna put it above Breloom. I'll put it just below Breloom. Like, the colors on this thing are so good. This thing's so cool. It's like the cicada Pokemon. It's awesome. And then you have Shedinja. Who's Shedinja? It looks like the like shell of the cicada. Like, for anyone that has seen the cicada, or that hasn't seen the cicadas before, so they crawl out of the ground and like crawl up a tree. They're on the tree and then like break out of the shell they have, and then they fly off as the normal cicada. And then the shell that remains, it's like this, like, it looks like a brown little cicada just there on the tree, but it's just like the empty shell that they had, and that's like what Shedinja looks like. It's such a cool concept that they made, and I think it's such a cool Pokemon as well. I want to read the dex entries here for them, actually. So Nincada is the trainee Pokemon. Nincada lives underground for many years in complete darkness. This Pokemon absorbs nutrients from the roots of trees. It stays motionless as it waits for evolution. Then the evolution, Ninjask, the ninja Pokemon. Ninjask moves around at such high speed that it cannot be seen. Even when it's crying, can be clearly heard. For that reason, this Pokemon was long believed to be invisible. You have the cicadas making the big crazy noises and all that stuff. Ninjask doing the same thing right there as they're describing it. And then Shedinja, the shed Pokemon. Shedinja's hard body doesn't move, not even a twitch. In fact, its body appears to be merely a hollow shell, the shell of the cicada. It is believed that this Pokemon will steal the spirit of anyone peering into its hollow body from its back. And then Shedinja has a black hole on its, like, not like a black hole, like literally just like a little black hole on its back. And that's there because, like, when the cicada comes crawling out of the back, like, it leaves the back like broken open. It's such a cool concept, dude. Such a cool evolution line. It is so awesome. I love these three so much. They're such awesome Pokemon. Again, Hoenn doesn't have bad Pokemon. Then we have Whismur, Loudron, and Exploud. Now, if I am being honest, when I was little, I always thought that Loudron and Whismur were from Gen 3, and Exploud was one of the evolutions in Generation number 4. Like, at the end of the decks, there's all those different evolutions. They added, like, a Mamoswine, Porygon Z, Rhyperior, Electivire, Magmortar. I thought Exploud was one of those for the longest time. Turns out, nope, Exploud is actually just straight up from Hoenn in Generation number 3. And these three right here, I've always really liked. Exploud, I'm putting up an A tier. I've always loved its design. Loudron is kind of weird. I'll note that. I'm going to put him at the bottom of B tier. And Whismur's fine. Whismur's a decent design. I'll put it down there in B tier as well. These three right here, like, they're cool, like the sound Pokemon. I don't really have anything against them. Loudron, like I said, I've always really liked. I've always thought, Exploud, I've always liked. Just, its name's Exploud. Like, that's such a cool name. And the design as well is awesome on it. Like, once again, Hoenn doesn't have bad Pokemon. These are all so cool. And then moving on to these next ones, dude. Oh, Makuhita and Hariyama. These two are so awesome. Makuhita, easy, I think. I'm like, dude, honestly, I feel like I need another tier up top almost. Now Hariyama, I'm like, Hariyama or Swellow? I'm gonna put Hariyama above Swellow. Up in A tier, and I'll put Makuhita up there in B tier as well. These two, once again, just awesome Pokemon, man. They're so cool. I remember when Gen 3 first came out in Pokemon Go. When Hoenn first came out, like, the first, like, big spawn I got in the wild was Hariyama. And when I say big spawn, I mean, like, like a fully evolved Pokemon or like rare type Pokemon, but quite literally, it was big as well. This thing is massive in Pokemon Go when it spawns on your screen, and Hariyama I've always just liked. I've always thought it was a super cool Pokemon. I believe a gym leader has it in Hoenn, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry, I always mix up in my head the gym leaders and the, like, frontier brains. I always mix those two up with who had what. But Hariyama, I do believe, was with one of the gym leaders, and because the gym battle, I think it was Grovyle fighting it, or it might have been Trico. It wasn't Sceptile, though, fighting it. I know that. But nonetheless, Hariyama it's an awesome Pokemon. I love Hariyama. Easy A-tier Pokemon for sure. Then we have a Zuril here, right? Is this the only baby Pokemon from this gen? I think it is. Yeah, Azurill, the only baby Pokemon we've got from this gen. Like, I got nothing against it, man. It looks fine. Like, Azumarill we put up in S tier during the Johto tier list. And Azurill, I'll put up, I'll put Azurill right there. Its shiny's probably green, right? Yeah, the shiny's probably green. I think only Azumarill turns gold. I think, Marill and Azurill are both lime green, if I'm not mistaken. But I'll put Azurill right there in B tier. It's fine. It's cool. It's a baby Pokemon. Again, baby Pokemon aren't necessarily my favorite, but, like, it is what it is. I'll put it in there in B tier. The Nosepass. Now, Nosepass is one, honestly, like, I never really liked too much. But for one reason alone, I'm going to put it up here. I don't know if I can put it above Dustox. I'll put it up there at the top of B tier. Nosepass is so cool. I believe it's based on, like, the heads from Easter Island, like those big stone heads and stuff. I believe that's what it's based on. But Nosepass is always pointing north. And I've seen so many cool details of this in recent years I've thought were just so awesome. For instance, in Pokemon Go, when these things spawn on your screen, when they spawn, they may be facing any direction. But when they spawn, they spin to point north. If you see one in Pokemon Go, I can assure you it is pointing north. And normally, I don't know this for a fact, but normally when you click on a Pokemon and encounter it, it'll be looking at you if you run away from it and don't catch it. Nosepass might continue to point north. I could be wrong about that, but I know for a fact. So, say Nosepass spawns in Pokemon Go, and he spawns like this, looking this way. And then he spawns and then turns to look whatever direction is north. Like, it's so cool when you actually see that in game. Like, that's such a small random detail that, like, most people probably don't even notice in the game, but for Pokemon to add that in is just, it's so cool. And then in the new anime, Pokemon Horizons, in that giant, like, flying ship thing they have in, like, the captain's room, like where the steering wheel is and all that stuff, there's a nose pass in the front for, like, the compass. It's so cool, man. Like, the details and stuff they've added in with nose pass. And again, I love Easter Island and all that stuff. Like, I love that kind of, like, that type of history and all that. Like, it's so cool. And, like, this Pokemon is just, it's such a cool Pokemon. I believe even in game it's pointing north as well, because you can see a bunch of these in Kitakami up in the top area of the map, and I believe all of them are pointing north, over by where oh god, what are their names? Monkey Dory. Oh, I always make fun of their names, so I don't know the actual names. But the dog one, the green legendary from Kitakami, the dog, where that one spawns just before in that rocky area, there's a bunch of nose pass, and I believe all of them are always pointing north. I believe so. Then next we have Skitty and Delcatty. Now these two are like, I mean, they're fine. I'm gonna put them in C tier. They're average. Like, I don't really have anything against them, but like, I don't really have any reason to like them as well either. Sorry. It was in the anime, right? May had one, a Skitty, I believe. I mean, they're fine. They're fine. These next, oh dude, look, we gotta roll once again with all these awesome Pokemon coming up. Like, Hoenn is such a good generation. It's so awesome. Next here we have Sableye. Sableye is just, oh my gosh, man. That's S tier. Sableye's an S tier mon for me. I'm gonna put it above Ralts. I don't think I put it above Mudkip and Trico. But Sableye is so, oh, you guys can't see my face cam's in the way. Sableye is so cool. I've always loved Sableye. It's Shiny's gold. It has a Mega. The Mega Sableye, the Shiny's gold, and the big crystal, for those that don't know, Mega Sableye has like a giant gem next to it. And normally it's Sableye's purple and the giant gem is red. But Shiny Sableye is gold and then the giant gem is green. Like, the colors that it matches with are so cool. I've wanted a lucky shiny Sableye in Pokemon Go for a while because the gold background with the lucky and then the gold Sableye would go so good together. But Sableye is such an awesome Pokemon. There's so many cool artworks of it. Like, there's one from EX Crystal Guardians, like, fits perfectly. EX Crystal Guardians, for those that don't know, all of the artworks in that set are based on, like, or are located in some, like, crystal island, and there's one of Sableye, obviously, down there eating the crystals. It's so cool, man. Sableye's such a cool Pokemon. And then first to get a Mega as well, I think is so awesome. Then this next one here, though, Mawile, like, if I'm being honest, I've never been the biggest fan of Mawile myself. Like, I'm gonna put it in B tier. This might be one of the few that upset some people. Like, Mawile, I don't know. Am I the only one with this, or do other people feel this way as well? Mawile, I've never had a reason to like. Like, it has a Mega, but I don't think the Mega is all that cool. And, like, what is it meant to be? Like, maybe a Venus flytrap type thing, maybe? I don't know, man. Like, Mawile, for me, it's fine. I don't look at it and say that's a bad Pokemon design. Yeah, Sonic Pro, exactly. It's just like, it's fine. Like, I've never had any reason to like it. I have always felt weird because of that. I will note that. Like, I've always thought, like, I don't know, that Mawile, it's like, it looks like something that, like, could be good, like, is supposed to be good. But I'm like, I've just never liked it. I don't know why. So, Mawile's in B tier. And these next three right here. Aeron, Lairon, and Aggron. Oh my gosh, dude. These are so cool. Aeron's A tier. Lairon's A tier. I'll put Lairon above Aeron. And actually, Lairon above Exploud and Aeron below Exploud. We'll leave it down there. Yeah, I'll put those there. And then Aggron, dude. Uh-oh. Can I grab Aggron? There we go. Aggron is easy S tier Pokemon once again. Aggron is such a awesome Pokemon. Like, dude, have you seen this thing's Mega? It's like just a tank, dude. It's so cool. Aggron is such an awesome Pokemon. A lot of people think Aggron is a pseudo-legendary. Spoiler alert, it's not. We already have 2 pseudo-legendaries in this generation, Metagross and Salamence, and Aggron is so cool. People think that's a pseudo-legendary as well. Like, Aggron is just such an awesome Pokemon. It's like Haxorus in Gen 5. Like, it's such an awesome design. People think it's a pseudo-legendary, but it isn't. But the thing is, it's so cool. It's, like, easy to believe that it would be a pseudo-legendary. Like, Aggron's just such a phenomenal Pokemon, man. It looks so good. Exospace, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Hey, Ketchup, thank you for tuning in as well. I appreciate it. Thank you to all those that are tuning in. Aggron for me, like I said, is elite. And I have it up there in S tier. Then now we have Meditite and Medicham. I think for like the longest time, I would always say Medichan. But I believe it's Medicham. I believe there's an M at the end. This one's really cool as well. Meditite, like, I'm kind of impartial to. I don't really care about it. I'll put it down in B tier. It's fine, but Medicham I've honestly always liked. I've always liked it. I'm going to put it up in A tier. Do I like it more than Swellow? You know what? I'll put it above Swellow. I don't think I like it more than Hariyama, though. I don't think I like it more than Hariyama. It has a cool shiny. It's blue. It has a Mega. Yeah, Medicham's cool. I like it. I'm gonna put it up there in A tier. It's, again, just a solid Pokemon. Fighting Psychic, it's cool. It's cool. Then Manectric. I mean, what's the pre-evolution? Manectric and, what's the name? I'm drawing blanks on the early evolutions. While I'm looking this up, yeah, what's the? Oh, Manectric and Electrike. Electrike, that's what it is. These two are cool. Now, on their own, like, they're fine. They're based on, like, a dog. Just kind of another dog-type Pokemon we've seen. Like, nothing too crazy or special about them. I'll put it in B tier. I'll put it right there in B tier. And then Manectric is a B tier as well for me. Some people might want it higher, some people might want it lower, but I don't know. Manectric, like, it's Manectric's design. I don't know. It's the piece coming up on his head. Like, it's just a triangle on the top of his head. I've never really liked it too much. I will note its shiny is gorgeous. It's black and yellow, dude. It is so cool. The shiny is so awesome. It is such an awesome shiny on Manectric. It is so cool. And then it's Mega. Like, the Mega is a wild design, but, like, the fact that it has a Mega, once again, is just so cool. Ketchup, I've been 54 minutes behind. Dude, I've seen people in the chat every so often. Like, I think when we were doing the Johto tier list, there was someone like that as well. Someone was typing in the chat, and I'm like, they're so far behind, because they were talking about, like, where I was going to put, like, the starters, maybe, and we were down, like, halfway through the tier list by then. I'm like, someone tell so-and-so that they're a little bit behind and they need to click live, because I don't know how that happens to some people, because I watch other streamers, and they say the same thing as well. Like, they'll be reading their chat, and they're like, oh, I can tell this guy, like, someone tells so-and-so to click live, because they're super far behind. But, like, for me, every time I tune into a stream, I feel like it almost always puts me at the very, like, most recent part of the stream. But occasionally it'll put me, like, a little bit behind, but, like, for the most part, like, it's normally good for me, but, like, I do know that's something that happens to a lot of people a lot. You tune into a stream, and it starts playing the stream, like, super far back. It doesn't even start playing it live, which could be annoying for some stuff. But moving on, what would we just do? Just a Manectric right now, cool shiny, like I said. Then moving on, now we have Plusle and Minun. Now, these are the Pikachu mons of this generation, and they're fine, dude. Like, oh god, don't want to go back. We'll lose the tier list. Don't want to go back at all. Plusle and Minun, I mean, they're okay, man. Like, I don't love them, but, like, I don't hate them as well. Again, they're kind of like the Pikachu mon of this generation. Now, like, you know, I'll go top of B tier with Plusle and Minun. Like, it's a cool concept. The plus and minus, like, they're cool. They're both electric. obviously, because they're the Pikachu mons of this gen. And it was cool seeing the duo. I will note that. I honestly, like, this generation, there's a lot of duos, if you look at it. I mean, for instance, you have Plusle, you have Dustox, Butterfree, you have Salamis and Metagross. There's a decent amount of them in here. There might be more as well. Yeah. Lunatone, Solrock, Survivor, Zangoose. Anything else? Maybe Dustox. Yeah, no, honestly, Dustox or Duskull and Shuppet. These two things down here that Clamperl evolves into. The two Beetles we're about to get. Yeah, dude, this is a generation of duos. I never noticed that. There's no way every gen's like that, right? And I've just never noticed it. Like, it's like right in front of you, like big, obvious, like duos they've had in this gen. There's a lot of them. I can't believe I'm just noticing that now, if I'm being honest. That's crazy. But moving on now to these Beetles. Now, one's like Illumies. I gotta get the other one. I gotta stop closing Pokemon Go. I keep closing it out, but I keep going back to the Pokedex to get the names of this stuff. Let me pull it up. Pokédex, Hoenn. My Poke knowledge is lacking. Volbeat and Illumies. Illumise, whatever you want to say. These two I don't like. Nah, I'm putting them D tier. I don't like these two. I'm sorry. Some people might. They're regionals in Pokemon Go. I've just never liked them. Never liked them whatsoever. Ketchup, I remember when I was like 8 years old, we were having a party at my dad's house, and I was in the pool, and this kid came up to me and gave me a Kyogre toy, so I've had a connection with Kyogre. Dude, I'm the same way with a lot of this stuff. Like, one-off memories like that, of just random stuff like that just sticks with you, and you just like the Pokemon forever from that simple reason. Like, I'm the same way with a lot of stuff. And speaking of the toys, at the start of the tier list, I literally said, like, the toys from Hoenn are some of the best toys I think Pokemon ever made. And I remember playing with them when I was little. And I've always liked them, Hoenn, a little bit more because of that. My bad. Roselia is a cool Pokemon. It's a one-off Pokemon. And it has, it would get the pre-evolution and the post-evolution in generation number 4 with Badoo and Roserade. But Roselia on its own, like, it's fine. It's cool. It's like the rose Pokemon. I like how it has, like, roses have, like, the thorns on them. And, like, Roselia has the spikes on its head. So, I think that's cool. Has a cool shiny. I like the red rose and the blue rose. I think that's a cool combination right there. And the guy in the anime, I don't remember his name. He had the green hair and the purple shirt, and was like one of May's rivals in like the contests they were in. He had a Roselia, and I always remember seeing that, and I always liked Roselia because of that. And like Roselia is just it's a solid Pokemon. It's a solid Pokemon. And these next ones, Swalot and Gulpin, these two. Now, honestly, like these are two kind of goofy Pokemon, if I'm being honest. They are what they are. I don't, like, love them too much, but I don't hate them as well. Easy B tier for me. I'm going to put them, where in B tier? Honestly, at this point, I'm just kind of picking where they go in B tier. I don't think too much of the stuff in, like the middle of B tier right here. Like, don't think too much of it. Like, the only things I would really take is, like, whatever, like, S tier, or S and God tier, I try to do, like, rank them in order of how much I like them, like, pretty good. But for the most part, it's like whatever's at the top is most definitely the best from that tier, and whatever's at the bottom is most definitely the worst from that tier. Everything else in the middle is just kind of like, there, I will admit. Let's do that. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's go with that. With those two in B tier. The next one we have Sharpedo and Carvana Unana. Carvana Unana. Carvana is a cool shiny. Carvana has a cool shiny. It turns like, it gets like the neon green and like the light blue, and it's the Piranha Pokemon. Carvana is really cool. I like it. I'm putting it up here in, I'll put it below Roselia. We'll put it below Roselia. Sharpedo, though, I've always liked Sharpedo. Oh my god, I keep messing everything up. Sharpedo, I do really like. Sharpedo might be top of B tier for me. It's the shark Pokemon. And I was thinking about this before. Maybe should Sharpedo be A, actually? No, actually, yeah. Sharpedo's A tier for sure. Sharpedo's cool. Now, Sharpedo, I was thinking about this before. This is the only shark Pokemon we have, right? There's not like another shark. Oh, you guys can't even see it. There's not like another shark Pokemon, is there? This is the only one. Which is crazy to think about, by the way. That Sharpedo's the only shark Pokemon there is. I could be wrong. There might be another one. I think Sharpedo's the only one, though. And it's not even like it's a full shark. It's literally half a shark. Garchomp? I guess Garchomp. But, like, Garchomp is, like, on land. Like, I mean, like, a water-type Pokemon. Garchomp is like a flying shark. Like, the air shark. That's true. That is very true, Psyduck Pro. I mean, like, in the water. Like, you think about, like, great white sharks. Tiger sharks. Like, sharks are big, crazy, popular animals. And, I mean, I'm kind of surprised that we had a Lola. And we didn't get a shark Pokemon in a Lola. I'm not crazy, right? There isn't some other shark Pokemon that I'm just not thinking of and drawing a blank on. I don't think there is. Which is pretty crazy to think about. Sharpedo's cool, though. Sharpedo would get its Mega, where its, like, nose just becomes super long. The fire shark, the earth shark, the water shark, and the air shark. The elemental sharks. Nah, Sharpedo's cool, though. It's shiny's... Is it shiny green? Is it... Oh, not green. Is it shiny, like, burgundy? Or is that, like, a fan-made shiny I'm thinking of? Let me check. Do I have one in Pokemon Go? Here, I'll read the dex entry for it. Sharpedo, nickname the brutal Pokemon. Nickname the bully of the sea. Sharpedo is widely feared. Its cruel fangs grow back immediately if they snap off. Just one of these Pokemon can thoroughly tear apart a super tanker. Yeah, Sharpedo's cool. And again, it's crazy to think that's the only shark Pokemon we actually have. Let me check, though. I want to look up shiny Sharpedo. What does this shiny look like? Oh, it's purple. Oh, it's got a pretty cool shiny. I just want to look up shark Pokemon. Shark Pokemon. Yeah, Garchomp and Sharpedo are the only ones. That's so crazy, man. You would think, like, a shark, man. Like, sharks are popular animals. And then we don't have a shark. We only have one shark Pokemon. And it's like a half a shark. It's not even a full shark. I think that is... I've always thought that is wild. But Sharpedo's up in A tier. It's a cool mon. Moving on now. Oh my god, we have Wailmer and Wailord. I mean, easy decision here. Uh-oh. Wailmer, A tier. Right there. Wailord is a S tier mon. The big boy himself. S tier mon for Wailord. Easy. I'll put it above... Do I put it above Sableye? We'll put it above Sableye. Easy S tier for Wailord. Yeah, the only other fatty besides Lax. Yeah, this is the other fatty there is in Pokemon. The Bigmon Wailord. Has a cool shiny. It's like pink. And now a cool, or is it purple? One of the two. But a cool detail about Wailord. In Pokemon Go, if you put Wailord in a gym, the gym Pokemon are normally all consolidated in the middle. Wailord's so big, he's off to the side by himself. Like, look up. I wonder if I can find a picture of it, actually. Let me check real quick. Wailord Pokemon Go Gym. Look at this. Here, I found this picture on Google Images. Look at this. Look at Wailord. Do you see that? All the Pokemon are here on the right. And then Wailord's off by himself on the left. I think it used to be more extreme. I feel like it used to be he'd go off to the edge completely by himself. But, dude, Wailord is, like, we call Snorlax the big boy. Wailord is the biggest boy. He is massive, dude. Wailord's such a cool Pokemon, though. I love him. It's awesome. I always remember me and my friends always loved the cards because the cards had, like 200-something HP, and normally only, like, special cards would have that much HP, but Wailord would have, like, you could get a level X card with, like, or a EX card with, like, 210 HP, and then you have, like, a hollow Wailord or a non-hollow Wailord with 220 HP. It's like, it was insane, dude. It was so crazy. Wailord's such an awesome Pokemon. Moving on, we have Numel and Camerupt. These two are cool. Numel, like, I don't know. I never liked it too much. I'm gonna put Numel in B tier. Actually, no, I'm a bump Numel down. We'll put Numel in C tier. Camerupt, though, I've always liked. I've always thought Camerupt was really cool. I'll put Camerupt in A tier. I'll put it above Exploud and Loudron. Or Exploud and Lairon, my bad. Camerupt's cool. It got a Mega. That was pretty cool. Yo. Katya Wainwright, I appreciate you tuning in. I do apologize if I said your name wrong. Thank you for tuning in, though. I appreciate it. But Camerupt, dude, Camerupt's an awesome Pokemon. It has a Mega. The Mega's cool. Like, this is, like, one thing they did with Hoenn that I love so much is that they gave Megas to kind of, like, Pokemon you wouldn't really expect the Pokemon Company to, like, cater towards. Now, I know that you had Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire based in Hoenn Generation number 3, so obviously they're going to give some stuff to those. Like, obviously they're going to give, like, a bunch of Megas to Pokemon from that generation. But, like, I don't know, man. Like, Camerupt is one of the ones that, like, I wasn't really expecting whatsoever, and it got one, and I'm like, I'm so happy it got one because it's so cool. Sharpedo's kind of in the same boat as well. It's like, you wouldn't exactly expect it. Like, Aggron, you expect that. What's his name? The starters, you expect that. The pseudo-legendaries, you expect that. But Camerupt, dude, like, I wouldn't really expect that, but I really liked the Mega for Camerupt. I thought that was really cool. Torkoal. Oh, you guys know I like Torkoal. S tier. Torkoal's S tier. He's going above. Ooh. Torkoal or Sableye? I like both. I really like both. We shiny hunted Torkoal. Oh, I got a shiny hunt Sableye. That's the next shiny hunt I'm going to do in Pokemon. Sableye. That's the next shiny hunt we're doing. We're shiny hunting Sableye. There we go. Got a new shiny hunt to do. Yeah, let's do Sableye, man. Sableye's such a cool Pokemon. We're shiny hunting that next. But Torkoal, we shiny hunted. Got it insanely fast. I think it was, 6 minutes, 7 minutes we found this thing. Shiny hunting it in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Torkoal I've always liked. The turtle Pokemon. Ash had one of the anime. It was really cool. Like, got nothing bad to say about Torkoal. Easy S tier Pokemon for me. I mean, I don't know if I put it above Sableye, though. You know what? No. Since I'm straight up Torkoal v Sableye, I like Torkoal better than Sableye. The only reason I put Sableye above Torkoal is if you're factoring in Shiny and Mega. But because of that, like because I need those two to put it above Torkoal, I'm gonna put Torkoal above because Torkoal's just on his own, just a big bad boy on his own. Yeah, Torkoal's S tier for sure. Easy S tier, put him up there. This next one, now I've never really liked these. These are kind of these haven't really been my favorite. Spoink, I've never really liked you. And Grumpig, I'm sorry, you're kind of gross. I've never really liked Grumpig either. Am I the only one that has never really liked these guys? Grumpig and Spoink. I don't know. They've never really been Pokemon that have stood out to me. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Like, I've never been that way with either of them. I've never really liked either of them, if I'm being completely honest. They're just meh to me. It is what it is. Justice for Spoink. You guys want Spoink higher? I could put Spoink higher. I don't know. It's just so basic. It's just gray. It looks gross, dude. Grumpig definitely down in D tier. There's no doubt about that for me. But, like, when I was doing the tier list, one of the only Pokemon I thought of to put in F tier for the thumbnail was Grumpig. And, oh, I don't remember who it was. One of you tuned in, and when you tuned in, you mentioned the thumbnail right away. Who was it? No, Exospace. Truth be told, I was shocked when I saw the thumbnail, but I'm glad Blaziken is an F tier. So, when I made the thumbnail, I originally was going to put Grumpig in F tier. But then I was looking at the other Pokemon, like, I have nothing else to put down there in F tier besides Blaziken. Down there in F tier with Grumpig. So I'm like, you know what? I have so many other good Pokemon. I'm just going to put all the good Pokemon on there, and I'm not going to worry about the ratings or the tiers of where they are. I just want to get the good Pokemon on the thumbnail. So that's why Blaziken and all of them were on there, and there wasn't other Pokemon because there aren't enough Pokemon to put down there in the bottom. Like, because there aren't bad Pokemon in Hoenn. These are the only, like, I'm not even saying, like, these three are down here in D tier are bad. I'm just saying, like, I personally don't really like them myself. Spinda's kind of weird, man. Like, I'll leave it down there. Like, Spinda's one, like, I think there might be some, like, lore around Spinda, because, like, I know each spot is different, and it might be, I don't know, is it, oh, you know what, is it based off of the red pandas, like those animals in real life? That might be what it's based on. I don't know. Spindas I've always just thought was weird. That is one thing with Hoenn. There's a handful of, like, one-off Pokemon that just don't really have anything. Now, some of them would get something, but, like, one-off Pokemon, I mean, from the ones we've already done on the tier list here, you have Torkoal, Sableye, Mawile, Roselia, Nosepass, Spinda now, down here, there's some more down here, Kecleon, Tropius, the Chingling Pokemon, I don't know the name of it off the top of my head, but all these Pokemon are just kind of like one-off Pokemon that are kind of just like, they're just kind of there. And it's like, I don't really know. Now, a lot of them would get stuff like a Mawile would get a Mega, Roselia would get a Evolution and Pre-Evolution, Sableye, like I said, or Sableye got a Mega as well, as we've mentioned before. Like, all these other things would get stuff, but Spinda's kind of just been chilling on its own. This is one that I could maybe see get a regional one day, but, like, I don't know, man. Spinda's kind of like, it's kind of I've always just thought it was a little weird. I don't know. That's just my opinion on it. But you know a Pokemon that isn't weird? This next evolution line right here. Trapinch, Vibrava, Flygon. These three right here, I mean, easy top of the list. No doubt about it. Not even a question in my mind. Trapinch is A tier. I'll put him and Vibrava. Vibrava, let's put up. I don't want to put him above. Let's put him above Lairon. Let's put him up like that. And Flygon. I personally like Ludicolo better than Flygon. If I'm going my personal opinion, I like Ludicolo better than Flygon. Although, if I'm going overall, if I'm looking for the Pokemon community as a whole, I honestly think Flygon would be like either top 3 in S tier right now. I'm gonna put it below Ludicolo because, for my personal opinion, I like Ludicolo better than Flygon. But dude, if someone says like Flygon should be the top of S tier, like I wouldn't dispute that whatsoever. Be like, yeah, you're right. Like I could agree with that. Like Flygon is a perfect design. And Tellion, thank you for tuning in. Flygon is literally a perfect design, and this is a Pokemon we have always asked for to get something else. Why hasn't Flygon gotten a Mega? Why didn't Flygon get a Gigantamax form? Why didn't Flygon get this? Why didn't Flygon get that? Flygon's like one of the neglected Pokemon. Like, you would think, like, with Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, they would have given Flygon a Mega. Like, that's what people wanted the most. It's, once again, similar to Aggron, where it's like a Pokemon that looks like it would be a pseudo-legendary, but isn't. That's just how good Hoenn is. It's got all these awesome designs, and that's how cool Flygon is. It looks like a pseudo-legendary, and it isn't even a pseudo-legendary. Like, Flygon is such a phenomenal design. But here's the thing. Do you guys think that if Flygon got something, Flygon's so good it would ruin it? Like, you can't, do you think, like, Flygon's so good you can't make something better with it? Do you think that's kind of the weird spot Flygon falls into? I don't know, man. I have always loved Flygon. I will admit, I've always thought it should have gotten something else as well. A Mega, most specifically. Like, look, like, Aggron got a Mega. Like, why not Flygon as well? I always thought Flygon should have gotten a Mega. Like, give Flygon a Mega over Mawile. Who cares about Mawile? Give that Mega to Flygon instead. I love Flygon, the goggles it has on its face, because it's like, it's a ground dragon, so it's like flying around in the sandstorm and all that stuff. It has the goggles on. Like, it is such a cool Pokemon. The design is just, I mean, flawless, man. It is so cool. Just, once again, another phenomenal peak design from Hoenn. Flygon's so awesome. It's had some awesome cards over the years as well. So cool, so cool, so cool. Moving on now, we have Cacnea and Cacturn. Now, these two, where should we put these guys? I will note, I just recently got a shiny for them in Pokemon Go. You gotta put Cacturn above Manectric. I'll put Cacturn right there. Below Roselia. And then Cacnea, I'll put above Poochyena. I just recently got the shiny for this thing in Pokemon Go. It's cool. I evolved it right away. It's like the Scarecrow Pokemon. I like it. It's cool. There was another guy I remember in the anime. He dressed like a Cacturn, didn't he? That like May would go against in like their like performance tournament stuff. So it's fine. Again, it's not something that's like bad, but I don't love it as well. It's average. It's average. I'll say that. Then next we have Swablu and Altaria. Now these two right here, dude. I don't know the opinions of a lot of other people on these. Honestly, I gotta go back to that, the top 20 Pokemon list and look at that a bit more. Because I don't know a lot of other people's opinions on these two Pokemon right here. But I will note, if I'm speaking just for myself, I love these two right here. Swablu, I've always liked. Swablu, the shinies turns gold, like the golden chicken nugget is what everyone calls it. And then Altaria. I have always loved Altaria, and its shiny turns gold as well. We got this shiny in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I was playing with you guys. I was in a Union Circle in one of your guys' games, and I got the shiny Altaria. Then I'd go on to get a shiny Swablu a little bit later, but shiny Altaria and Altaria as a whole, I have always loved. And honestly, do I like Altaria better than Gardevoir? Kevin Hernandez, W Flygon take. Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in. Flygon's such an awesome Pokemon. I don't like Altaria, though, as much as Flygon. I will note that. I definitely like Flygon more than Altaria. Definitely like Blaziken more than Altaria. Definitely like Altaria more than... Actually, do I like Altaria more than Aggron? I think I'll leave Gardevoir above Altaria. Altaria and Aggron, though. Like, here's the thing when you look at these two. You have the cool, complex design, and you have simplicity as it's at its finest with these two right here. Altaria is just a blue blob with just, I mean, like a cloud around it. Like, super simple, basic design. Then you have Aggron with, like, the elaborate armor and the tail, the spikes coming out of its head, the armor going down the back of its neck, its eyes, nose, mouth, and the nose, or the, like, the point coming off the front of its nose, like, the pieces on its shoulders, the, like, extra, like, silver around his knees, like, this elaborate design. That is really cool. And then Altaria is really cool as well because it's a simple design. This is a perfect example of how we were literally talking about this the other day with Umbreon. Like, Umbreon, the reason why people like it so much is probably because of the fact that it's like a basic, simple design. And here we have two designs going toe-to-toe. A basic, simple design in Altaria and a big, elaborate design in Aggron. I like Mega Aggron more than Mega Altaria, but I like Altaria's shiny more than Aggron's shiny. You know what? I think Altaria has cooler cards. So I'm going to put Altaria above Aggron. I'm going to leave Altaria above Aggron. If people want it, I could, again, this is one as well, though, like, I could see people going either way. If people want to put Altaria lower, like, I could probably understand that. I feel like I might be a little biased towards Altaria. I honestly don't even know why. I've always liked Altaria for as long as I can remember. I've always thought it was a cool Pokemon. But, I mean, I don't think people would want it to go any higher, would you? I think we got Altaria in a good spot. Like, I don't think that many people would put Altaria above Gardevoir, if any would put it above Gardevoir. No way people are putting Altaria over the starters, and no way someone's putting Altaria over Flygon. So, I'm going to leave Altaria right there. I think that's a good spot for it. Now, moving on, we have Zangoose and Survivor. Now, these two are, like, once again, like another duo from this gen. Now, Survivor, I always remembered seeing in the anime with Jesse and James. Team Rocket had a Survivor. Now, I've never really liked Survivor too much myself. I will note that. And then Zangoose, I've never really been, like, the biggest fan of either. I'm going to leave them down here in B tier. Like, I don't know. They're just two Pokemon that I've, like, never really... Survivor, I'm going to leave down there. I don't know. They're just two Pokemon that I've never really had any reason to like, if I'm being honest. Like, it is what it is. I mean, Survivor is a snake. I get it. It's cool. And, like, Zangoose is, like, it's fine, but, like, I don't know. I've just never liked them too much myself. Lunatone and Solrock. Now, I like these two Pokemon because, like, Hoenn's, like, the space region with, like, Jirachi and Deoxys and Rayquaza and all that stuff. And these two as well, Lunatone and Solrock. I think they're cool. I mean, like, the concepts of them. Design-wise, I mean, they're not the best. I don't really like them too much. I will note, they're nice in Pokemon Go because they're easy to hit excellent throws on. You want to grind some XP? Hit some excellent throws on Lunatone and Solrock whenever they're spawning for all the events. Because they have them spawn for events all the time, it feels like. But I think B tier is good for them. I don't want to put them below Loudred and Swalot. So, you know, I might bump Loudred down. Actually, I'm going to bump both of these guys down. Loudred and Swalot. I'm going to put them in C tier. Yeah, I'm going to bump them down to C tier. And then Lunatone and Solrock at the bottom of B. Again, like, their duo, the concept of them, like the sun and the moon, like, I like that. But, like, design-wise and stuff, like, there isn't much there. Yeah, I'll leave them in B tier. Then we have Barboach and Whiscash, right? Whiscash? Yeah, because Whiscash is the one that took out Mayo in the Shiny Only Nuzlocke. These two right here, they're cool. A ground water type. Actually, now I think of it. Oh, no, we had Quagsire Gen 2. I was going to say, did we get the first two ground water types in this gen? But no, like I said, we had Quagsire before, but Whiscash I've always thought was a cool Pokemon. Barboach I'm going to leave in B tier. I will note that. Barboach is a B tier mon for me. Actually, I might leave it at the bottom of B tier. And Whiscash is going to go, it'll go bottom of A tier. I'll acknowledge it and say it's cool and put it up in A tier. I don't want to put it any higher, though. I think Whiscash is good down at the bottom of A tier. I think that's a solid spot for it. It's like, it is what it is. It's like, you know what? Now that I think of it, I feel like I've always thought this thing was a whale. It's a catfish, right? Whiscash, catfish. It kind of sounds like the cash kind of sounds like cat for catfish, Whiscash. It's got the big mouth like a catfish, and it's got like the feelers coming off the face. Why have I always thought this was like a mini whale? I am literally just realizing this now for the first time. Like, you want to see a whale Pokemon? It's the big boy. We got him up here. He's up there in S tier. Whiscash is small, though. And I've always thought it was a mini, like, whale shark or something like that. But no. It's literally a catfish. I'm just realizing that now for the first time. I can't believe that. Moving on, though. Crawdont and Corphish. Now, a lot of people have hated on these. Maybe because Ash had one in the anime, and they kind of wish that he had something else instead. But because of him having them in the anime, I've always liked them. Corphish is going... I might put Corphish up in... Crawdont's B for me. I'll leave Crawdont in B. Corphish, though... Nah, man, I like Corphish. Corphish, I'll put up an A. Yeah, I'll put him in A tier, just below Whalmer. I like Corphish, dude. I think Corphish is cool. It was funny in the anime, Ash having one. Crawdont is like, it's kind of one I don't really have any reason to like, if I'm being honest. I'm gonna leave it in B tier. And yeah, I think that's a good spot for it. Crawdont's there. I will note, these things were insanely rare in Pokemon Go for a while. I don't know if anyone else had problems finding these things, but like, dude, I could never find a Corphish or a Crawdont. I remember one time I saw a wild Crawdont to the nearby. I'm like, I might have to go get that, but I was where I was at the time. I wasn't able to actually go get it. But like, it took me forever to get these things. I have both of them now in Pokemon Go since Johto Tour came around. But these two Pokemon right here, I feel like were insanely rare for a while in Pokemon Go for honestly no reason. It's like, why were these two rare? Like, it's just, I'm like, there's nothing really like special, no disrespect, Corphish or Crawdont, but there's like nothing special about them, yet they were insanely rare. I always thought that was crazy. Now we have Claydol and Baltoy. Now these we are used to smacking around in Pokemon Go. We beat these things, or in Pokemon Unite. We beat these things around all the time. Claydol I'll put up here. I do like Claydol. I think it's a cool design. Baltoy I kind of like. Put above Survivor. Let's put it right there. Both in B tier. Claydol is a cool EX I have from I don't know the set. It's from the EX Ruby and Sapphire era, though. Cool Psychic type Claydol EX card I have. I've always really liked that card, so I've liked Claydol a little bit more because of that. But I'll put him down there in B tier. I think that's a solid spot for him. Then moving on, we get into the fossils right here. Some of the cool fossil Pokemon. Now, this might be a hot take, but I have always really liked one of these Hoenn fossils. This one right here, what's this one's name? I know it evolves into Credilli. Obviously. It's right next to it. Lileep. Now, this one, I mean, it's fine. I'm going to put it in B tier. I'll put it just below Shedinja. But this might be a hot take. I don't know other people's opinions on this. I really like Credilli. This is one of my favorite fossil Pokemon there are. I'm putting Credilli up here in S tier. Some people might agree. Some people might disagree. I have always really liked Credilli. Credilli's always been one of my favorite fossil Pokemon. I have always really, really liked it. Then it's Anorith, right? And Armaldo. Armaldo I like because I remember seeing a picture on Instagram of someone saying, oh my god, I got a wild Giratina. And it was an Armaldo, and they drew around it to make it look like Giratina. So I've always liked Armaldo a little bit more because of that. So I'll put Armaldo, I'll put it just below Crawdont. Then Anorith we'll put down here in B tier as well. Like, right there. That's a good spot for it. Credilli, though, that might be the hot take for me. I've always really liked Credilli. I don't know why. Some people, honestly, I don't think a lot of people would put it this high, like at the top of S tier, or not at the top of S tier, but in S tier like that, at the top of the list as a whole. I've always liked Credilli, man. I've always thought it was a really cool Pokemon. I don't know what it is, just the green pops on it so well. You have the pink and the yellow with it too. You have like what looks like the eyes in the mouth, but the eyes are actually the things that look like teeth on the inside of its mouth. Like, I've always thought it was an awesome Pokemon. It's had some really cool cards. There's a really cool EX of it from the EX Ruby and Sapphire era, a grass, lowercase EX card that is super cool, that I've always actually wanted to get, if I'm being honest. But Credilli I've always thought was super cool. Always thought was a super cool Pokemon. You know what? Actually, the next tier list we have to do, we're not going to jump to Sinnoh. We got to do the fossil Pokemon. Honestly, can't believe I haven't done that yet. The fossil Pokemon tier list, we got to do that next. I can't believe I haven't done that yet. But Credilli might be up at the top for that one. I don't know if it's my absolute favorite fossil. I'd have to look at all the fossils together, but it's definitely top 3. Definitely top 3 for fossils for me. Now we have Feebas and Milotic. Now Feebas is like, this is the new version of Gyarados and Magikarp, right? We can all agree on that. The new version of Gyarados and Magikarp. Feebas is fine. I'll put it at the bottom of A tier. But Milotic, on the other hand, Milotic is an awesome Pokemon. It's going up here. I'm going to put it below Torkoal, above Sableye. Milotic I've always thought was really cool. It has a cool shiny, has a cool EX card as well from, I believe it's EX Emerald. It has a really cool EX card in there. That's like the big chase card of that set. But Milotic is, I mean, it's a solid Pokemon. Super tanky as well. You can do like, was it Ice Beam, Scald, and then like some other moves to like heal yourself up to figure it out. Like, or to like heal up and all that stuff, and it's just, Milotic's a solid Pokemon. Yo, Tom Wanders, thank you for tuning in. Ranking based on what? Awesomeness? Pretty much, dude. Just everything together that makes the Pokemon good. Because, like, for me, like, I'm not gonna do it just based on, like, some people, when we did the Johto one the other week, were asking, like, if it was, they thought it was based on, like, competitive, how they are on the competitive scene and all that. And, like, I'm not doing that. I'm doing it based just simply on, like, honestly, everything. Like, if there's a Pokemon that I've used in battling and stuff, then maybe I'll give that Pokemon the edge over another one because I have that connection with the Pokemon. Maybe if the Pokemon has a really cool card in the TCG that I really like, maybe I'll give that one the edge over another one. Maybe if it's just got an awesome design, like Flygon, I'll put it really high up there on the list as well. It's honestly just everything all together, like my opinion on how much I like each Pokemon. And as I've said this whole thing, honestly, Hoenn doesn't have bad Pokemon. Hoenn is nothing but good Pokemon, if I'm being honest. Kevin Hernandez, favorite region? My favorite region is without a doubt Hoenn. I mean, Gen 3, like, without a shadow of a doubt. And here's the thing. This might be like come as a surprise. I've never played a Hoenn game. I don't think I've ever played... I haven't played the Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, and I never played original, like, Ruby Sapphire or Emerald. I've never played a Hoenn game myself. But Hoenn was the first anime I watched growing up. Hoenn was the first, like, generation where I really got into, like, the cards and all that stuff. Hoenn was the first generation where I had, like, the toys and all that stuff. And it's the ones I have, like, the fondest memories of. Like, when I think back to when I first got into Pokemon, I think back to Hoenn. Hoenn's, like, my most vivid memories of the start. And just because of that, I've always just really liked this generation as a whole. It's just, it's so awesome, man. It's such a cool generation. My favorite gen, without a doubt. Best pseudo-legendaries, best starters, like, and then look at all the other Pokemon outside of that. Best pseudo-legendaries, best starters. Then on top of that, you have Pokemon like Gardevoir, Slacking, Aggron, Altaria, Flygon, Ludicolo. Like, dude, this gen is just so good. It is so good. And again, on top of all those big, bad, crazy, cool Pokemon, this might be one of the best parts about Hoenn. The kind of polar opposites you have within the gen. You have the big, bad, cool Pokemon, like the top of S tier right here. Ludicolo, Flygon, the starters, obviously, Slacking, Aggron, Altaria, Gardevoir. But then down here, you have these, like, simple one-off Pokemon, like Castform and Kecleon. Like, these two are super cool as well. Like, Castform's cool because it takes on all these different forms. Kecleon's the The chameleon, I almost said gecko for a second. The chameleon Pokemon that changes colors and all that stuff, both are really cool. I'm going to put Kecleon up in A tier out of respect. Cast form, though, I don't know. I've never been the biggest fan of cast form myself. Honestly, I might leave it at the bottom of B tier. I've never really liked cast form too much myself. The concept's cool. I like how it changes the different forms with the weather, but like, I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of cast form. I will note that, but it's a fine Pokemon. It is fine. Kecleon, though, I'm putting up an A tier. I think Kecleon's a good mon. Putting it up in A tier like that, I think that's a solid spot for it. Kecleon was crazy in Pokemon Go. It took us so long to get this thing. I'm trying to remember. I don't. Did we have it during Hoenn Tour? Surely, right? There's no way we didn't. But like Kecleon, for those that don't know how you get it in Pokemon Go, it spawns on a Pokestop, but it's invisible. But you can see the red band around its waist, because you look at Kecleon here. Kecleon has that red band around its stomach. Like, everything turns invisible or like clear besides that, so you see that band, and you can tell Kecleon's there. You can see the outline of it, like when it's invisible and stuff. And you have to tap Kecleon a bunch to get it to jump off the Pokestop. You spin the Pokestop and then X out of the Pokestop, and then Kecleon's there and spawned. And I know in the games themselves, there's like some unique way to actually get Kecleon, but because it's like invisible, you have to find it and all that stuff. Like, I remember seeing people say when they add Kecleon into Pokemon Go, they're gonna do it to where it tells you it's at a Pokestop, and then what you have to do is go into AR mode and look around, and it's gonna be the invisible Kecleon. Like, same way we see it on the Pokestops now, where it's invisible and it's just a red band. You have to look around the Pokestop and find it like that in AR mode, which I will note, I think would have been much cooler. I think now, I don't know where that rumor came from. I would assume if they were... Sorry, I'm still getting over being sick. I would assume if that was something that was like actually in the works, they did what they actually did just to get something out there to get Kecleon in the game because people were complaining so much. But Kecleon, dude, it's a cool Pokemon. Unique ways to get it in the original games and in Pokemon Go. I've always liked it. It's a solid Pokemon. Sonic Pro, sorry, gotta go by. Hey, Sonic Pro, I appreciate you taking the time to tune in today. Thank you so much. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Moving on now, we have Shuppet and Banette, as we get into some of the ghost types here from Hoenn. Now, these two right here, growing up, I always thought Shuppet was the last evolution, because I had a card. I don't remember what set it's from, but there's a Shuppet card of Shuppet like going through a town at night. It's like the camera would be on the ground looking up at Shuppet, and it showed like Shuppet just like going through the street, and there's like stores and street lights and stuff in the background. And I don't know why, but I always thought that Shuppet looked gigantic in that, and like he was meant to be massive, like taking up the whole street and that kind of stuff. Little did I know, it's just like a zoomed in shot on Shuppet, so that was wrong. Shuppet's actually like really small, but I always thought Shuppet was massive growing up, and I've always liked Shuppet. I will note that. I've always thought Shuppet was cool. I'll put it above Mawile, and Banette I like as well. There's a couple of details on Banette that I think are really, really cool. First one being the zipper mouth. I think that is so cool, and that's kind of something I wish we had gotten some more in Pokemon. Like, with the ghost type mons, like, doing stuff like that, like, I kind of wish we had someone that was like, the zipper was like down the middle of their face or something like that. Now, we did kind of get that with Mega Banette, where they elaborated a bit more, but like, I feel like that's such a cool concept, like the zippers on the ghost type Pokemon, that it could add into a bit more to add like the scare factor for the ghost types. But like, Banette's it is kind of like a basic design, I will note, but like Mega Banette is really cool, and like it is a basic design, but the stuff that is there I think is really cool. I like Banette. I'm gonna put it up there in towards the top of B tier. Then these next ones, dude. Duskull and Dusclops. I mean, the names alone are awesome. These are A tier for me. Duskull and Dusclops. Let's see. Duskull. Which do I like more? Both have awesome shinies. Both their shinies are red, and they're really, really cool. But which one I don't even know which one I like more, if I'm being honest. Duskull has a really cool one, a card, I believe from EX Deoxys, with like a bunch of flames all around it and stuff. So, Actually, now that I think of it more, I might leave them there. I might do bottom of A tier for them. Not in a bad way. It's just simply that I like the Pokemon above them. You know what? Nah, I like them more than. They'll go right here. Yeah, they'll go just below Corphish. Let's put them up there. Both are really cool. I love the designs of both of them, the ghost Pokemon. Duskull, like, obviously, it's like the haunted skull going around. And one cool detail about Duskull, you see the red in its eye right there. Now, when you look at Duskull, it kind of might look like it's got, like, 2 eyes in there, but it actually is only the one red ball, like, in the middle of its head like that, and it's just, like, it gives, like, the illusion almost as if there's 2 eyes in there, but it's literally just the single red dot, like, the red glow in there that makes it look like it's got 2 eyes. Then, if I am being honest, I don't know what Dusclops is meant to be. Is it meant to be, like, a mummy type thing? Like, what are those things hanging off? Like, what? Like, it's got the single eye right here. Then what are the things hanging off the face? Like, Dusclops, like, implies, like, Cyclops. That's why it has the single eye. But, like, it's got a weird design, I will note. And, like, this is how ghost Pokemon should be. It doesn't make sense. And because of that, I think it looks cool. I love the shinies of both of these. Honestly, Dusknoir, I like the least out of this evolution line. Like, for me, it'd go Duskull, Dusclops, Dusknoir. Like, that's the order in which how I like them, with Dusknoir being the worst one. Because, like, these two look very similar. Their shinies are red, which looks really cool. And then you just get Dusknoir, which is, like, completely different. The shiny's, like, kind of purple, but, like, still kind of mainly gray. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, Dusknoir's a cool Pokemon, but, like, for this line, I just don't feel it fits. Like, you look at Mamoswine, for instance, with Swinub, Piloswine, Mamoswine. That makes sense. Duskull, Dusclops, Dusknoir, like, I don't know. I just feel Dusknoir seems a little out of place in this evolution line. But the original two here from Hoenn, I really, really like. Now, Tropius. This is another Pokemon I've mentioned before that, like, is a cool Pokemon one-off on its own and is so easy for them to make it cooler and give it more. Like, how easy would it be to give Tropius a regional form? Like, effortless, dude. It's a plant. There's plants all over the world that are, like, with different kinds of plants and all that stuff. It'd be so easy to make a regional form for Tropius. Change the type of leaves on its back, change the fruit hanging off its face, and bang, you got a cool regional form. Like, I feel like the majority of people like Tropius, right? Tropius is one of the ones that people don't really dislike. It's a cool Pokemon. I really like it. And, like, it's just one that I feel like, once again, it's like this weird one-off Pokemon in Hoenn that just never got more. Like, yes, you have the cool full evolutions. You have Ludicolo, Slacking, Gardevoir, Aggron, Altaria, Flygon, all these full evolutions. And then you have all these one-off Pokemon as well. They're just single Pokemon by themselves. That's like, some of them are cool, but then some of them are like, okay, like, I kind of wish we had more, and this is an example of one that I kind of wish we had more. Some of them we would get more in the future, like I've mentioned already, with like Sableye and Mawile, with them getting the Megas and that type of stuff. But Tropius is one. I don't think it needed a Mega. I don't think it needed a Gigantamax form. I think this is a perfect Pokemon for a regional form. Just an absolute perfect regional Pokemon they could make right there. Then this next one right here, I just want to make sure I get the name right for this. Chimecho. I said Chingling earlier. That's that bell thing. Is that the pre-evolution of it, actually? It is. Chingling's the pre-evolution. Then Chimecho is just on its own in this gen. And then the pre-evolution would come in the next generation. But Chimecho, I mean, it's a wind chime. I like it. I think that alone is pretty cool. The wind chime mon. I mean, isn't really much to say about this. I like these wind chimes. I think they're cool. I see them every so often. Like, oh, they sound nice. They look nice. But, like, as a Pokemon, like, I don't really have much to say about it. I'm trying to think, like, would I put it up higher? I don't even think I would. Like, would I put it up by Survivor? You know what? I like wind chimes. Let's put it right there. I like wind chimes, so I'll put it up a bit more. I mean, like, it's a cool idea. The design is executed perfectly. I wouldn't change the design on this thing whatsoever, if I'm being honest. But, like, I mean, it's a wind chime. Like, there's only so much you can do with a wind chime. But, like, the fact that they added that in as a Pokemon made it, I think it's cool. It's a cool Pokemon. We'll put it up there. Now, Absol. Now, this is one I don't know. Like, if I'm, like, you look at Absol, like, this is meant to be a cool Pokemon, I feel like. Like, Absol's meant to be, like, this big, bad, crazy, awesome, strong, cool Pokemon. But for me, I've never been a fan of Absol. I don't know what it is. Its Shiny's fine. Its Mega's bad, I think. Like, for me, this is no different than Mawile, really. You know, I'll give Absol a little higher than that. Should I put it a little higher? Cacturn and Roselia. Do I like Absol more than them? There, I'll put it there. Absol ain't going above Nosepass, though. Absol ain't going above Nosepass. I think Absol's fine, dude. Like, this is one that, like, I think a lot of people really like, but I don't know. For me, it's just, I don't know. Absol's never given me a reason to like it. I've never really liked any of its cards too much. I don't remember really liking it in the anime that much. It wasn't really in there too much. The Mega's not that good, I don't think. The design's, like, fine. The Shiny's okay. Like, no, I will note, the Shiny's good. Going from the blue to the red. Like, I like that shade of red. I think that's really cool. But for the most part, like, I don't know. For me, man, Absol has never been my favorite. I'll say that. So I got it down in B tier. That might be one of the hot takes from this one. Some people might want that a lot higher. Dude, we're getting close to the end here. Now we have, why not? Why not? I like why not. Why not's cool. I'm going to put it up in A tier. I'll put it below Kecleon. Why not's a good mon. Then Snorunt and Glalie. Now, Ash had Glalie in the anime. Now, a lot of people dislike Glalie. Excuse me. And I really don't know why. I think these Pokemon are all cool. I'll put Snorunt right there. Above Cacturn. Glalie's A tier for me. I've always liked Glalie. Maybe because Ash had it in the anime. That might be the only reason I like it. But for me, Glalie I have always thought was a cool Pokemon. Yeah, I'm going to put it all the way up here. Medicham or Glalie? Medicham or Glalie? I'll leave Medicham above it. Glalie I've always thought was cool, and I feel it's a Pokemon that gets too much hate. People like, this Pokemon's so useless and worthless. Like, what's the point of it and all that stuff? Like, it's just, it looks cool, man. I've always thought Glalie looks cool. Ash had it in the anime. It got a Mega. It's Shiny's like purple, right? If I'm not mistaken. And I don't know, man. I've always just thought Glalie was cool. And now, they would get the female evolution with Frostlass in the next gen. And I will note, I do like Frostlass. Or do I like Frostlass more than Glalie? Frostlass is cool as well. They're both good. Like, I think they're both cool. Now, Glalie, like I said, though, I feel like a lot of people hate on it. But, I don't know. I've always liked Glalie. I've always liked Glalie. Now, Spheal. Is Celio and Walrein. I know Walrein's the last one, but is it Celio? Is the middle one? Yes, Celio. I get those things all the time on the daily incense. Anyone else? Anyone else get Celio all the time on the daily incense? Or is it just me? These are cool Pokemon. The Walrus Mons. Is this the only Walrus Pokemon we've ever had? Spheal, I'll put here. I'll put it above Absol. Celio, I will put below Carvanha Unana. Walrein, though? Walrein, I think, is top of A tier for me. Walrein's really good. I've always really liked Walrein. You want Spheal higher? I'll put Spheal higher. You know, I kind of want to move I want to move Exploud down and Swablu down. Here, we're doing some reorganizing on the list here. Vibrava there. Alright, let's go with that. Yeah. That's good, that's good. Dude, this feels fine. It's got a cool shiny. Turns pink. Or, yeah, pinkish purple. But Walrein I've always liked. I've always thought Walrein was a cool Pokemon. One thing I will note, I don't remember what movie this was. This might be the movie with all the Deoxys. There's a ton of them. That movie. At the start. Or no, and this also might be in, no, it's the start of that movie because it shows Rayquaza and Deoxys fighting. And also, too, in wherever you see Rayquaza Mega Evolve for the first time, it's up in, like, the Arctic in that snow area, and they always show a whole bunch of wild Celios and Walrein, like, the wild, like, walruses up in, like, the Arctic and all that stuff. I think that is such a cool detail they've added in to all of, like, those iconic, like, parts from Hoenn. Like, I've always thought those were really cool, and I really like those Pokemon because of that. Walrein is really awesome. I've always really liked it. It's a really cool... Walrein might be S tier. Now, you know what? Walrein's S tier. I'll bump Vigoroth down below Walrein. Yeah, I'm putting Walrein S tier. I like Walrein, dude. Once again, Hoenn doesn't have bad Pokemon. It's only got bangers. Bangers only in Hoenn. It is so good. But moving on now. Look at this. Look how top heavy this is. And then there's just nothing down here at the bottom, which is good because there are no bad Pokemon in Hoenn. And I gotta make sure I get the names right for these. I know it's Clamperl. And then it goes Huntail and Gorbis. Huntail, Gorbis, and Clamperl. Now, honestly, these ones I've never really cared for. Like, it is what I'm putting them in C tier. Like, for me alone, like, I don't know. I've never had a reason I feel to like these. Like, there's nothing really special about them, I don't think. Wingull, I'm putting B tier. Wingull, I feel is kind of low down there. I don't know. Like, some people might like these. For me, though, I've never been a fan of them, really. I've never liked them too much. So I'm gonna put them down there in C tier. Relicanth, though, this is so cool. So I told this story of when I met the real-life Pokemon Master. One of the things he said to us was that he was traveling to Australia. This guy was retired. For those that haven't heard the story, I met a real-life Pokemon Master. It's this crazy elaborate story of how he met this old guy that was level 49 in Pokemon Go, and he was like 100k XP from level 50 or something like that at the time when we met him. And he told us, he's like, oh yeah, you want to friend me, I can trade, we get lucky friends, I'll trade you whatever you guys want. And he said, also too, I'm traveling to Australia to catch Relicanth, so if you guys need it, just let me know and I'll trade you one. I'm like, what? So it's this old guy that's retired. And he said he started playing the game just because he had nothing to do when he was retired. And he's like, I walk like 15 miles a day or something like that playing the game. And it's like insane. He's just out playing nonstop. And hearing that he was going to Australia, like, he was going there on vacation, yes, but, like, his reason for picking that as his vacation spot was to catch Relicanth in Pokemon Go. I'm like, this guy is so cool. So I've always really liked Relicanth, literally because of that, ever since that. And Relicanth is cool as well, because it's based on a fish. Like, some people put this with, like, the fossil Pokemon. It's not a fossil Pokemon, because Relicanth is actually based on this fish that, in real life, scientists had thought was extinct for like millions of years, and then one just popped up, was like, sup, and was just alive, and everyone was like, no way. Relicanth is based on the same thing. And I believe that fish is actually from like Australia. That's why Relicanth is regional to Australia. But I'm gonna put it, Relicanth is, because of that, dude, Relicanth is cool. It's like, nah, I'm alive, sup. So I'm gonna put him up there in A tier. I like Relicanth more than Sharpedo. I'll leave it right there. A tier for Relicanth. Relicanth is a cool mon. The Love Disc, dude, this is kind of a weird one. I don't really think... Yeah, I'm going to leave it in bottom of C tier. Like, I don't really get the point of this one. Yo, I'm from Australia and I knew, like, none of that. Zayzal, yo, I like your profile picture. I'll just say Zay. Thank you for tuning in. I like your profile picture. Ultra Instinct Goku. Yeah, dude. I'll look it up. You know what? Actually, I don't know if I can. Can I just show articles on stream? I don't know. I'm on Twitch. I'm streaming on Twitch as well right now. And if I'm being honest, I have no idea the rules on Twitch. So I don't want to risk anything. We can't get banned on Twitch in our second ever stream on Twitch. But Relicanth real. I'll just look up Relicanth real life. So Relicanth is based on a particularly, my bad, fascinating animal. A very elusive deep sea fish called a coelacanth. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna show this on stream. It's some animal website. Surely the animal website will let me show it on stream. Relicanth real life. You go discoverwildlife.com. Surely they'll be cool with me looking at their article on stream. Sorry, I'm scrolling down to the Relicanth part. Oh, it says what Gorbis is based on? I've never heard of this thing before. Look, it's saying what Gorbis is based on. Long-nosed Chimamara? I've never heard of this. Officially, this aquatic Pokemon is said to be based on a snipe eel, a very slender eel with a beak-like jaw. However, we think it looks much more similar to the long-nosed Chimera. This family of cartilaginous fish, what are they made just fully out of cartilage? Can be found in temperate and tropical seas worldwide. They are also sometimes known as spookfish, which seem appropriate given their quite ghostly appearance in their dark, deep sea habitat. Well, I would agree. That looks exactly like that thing right there. There's Stunfisk. There's Rattata. Rhyhorn. Sandshrew. Zubat. Corsola. Here we go, Relicanth. Now, this is the name of the actual fish right here. Coelacanth, I think is the name. Relicanth and coelacanth. I'll read this. Look, this is the fish right here. Literally just popped up and said, "Sup, I'm alive." Look at this. Relicanth is based on a particularly fascinating animal, a very elusive deep-sea fish called a coelacanth. Coelacanths are known as living fossils. This is because until relatively recently, they were only known from fossils and were thought to have gone extinct along with the dinosaurs. They thought these things got wiped out when the dinosaurs got wiped out. People had found fossils of these fish. This is a fish that we've been finding fossils of, like in abundance. Like it's known that these things were fossilized and from super long ago. People have found fossils of these fish dating back to a whopping 410 million years ago. You know how many Pokemon generations that'll be? We get a generation every 3 years. Do you know how many regions that would be? It is absolutely insane. 410 million years ago, and there was no indication that they were still living. However, a shock discovery came in 1939, 66 million years after its supposed extinction, while a living specimen was found alongside a fisherman's catch. A group such as this that seemingly disappears from the fossil records only to reappear again, almost unchanged, is known as a Lazarus taxon. And I want to try to find something of where it was found. I believe it was found in Australia. Where was the coelacanth found? Oh, this is east coast of South Africa. Where the one that was found. I always thought it was. I thought that's why Australia was the place in Pokemon Go. I might have been mistaken. Let me look up. It says, but by Madagascar. Yeah, so, kind of, I mean, you got the whole Indian Ocean between where I was saying it was, but that... The tier list reset. Oh my god, we gotta go through and do it all again. I'm just gonna... Oh, Lord. I went on a new tab. It never does that. Can you catch that fish in Animal Crossing too? I've never played Animal Crossing myself, so I don't know. Oh, wait, no. I don't have to pull up my own stream and go find it. Oh my god. No, I'm just gonna pull up the stream and do what was most recent. Just throw everything in where it was. Hit a bit of a detour right here. Oh, I can't believe that. Yo, Sonic Pro got my first sub today. Yo, congrats. Alright, I'm just gonna roll through this real quick. I just have my own stream pulled up and just start putting everything where it was. Oh my god, I can't believe this. We've been doing this for hours, huh? This has never happened before. Puchiena was B tier. Yeah, B tier. You were B tier. You were B tier. You were C tier. You were B tier. These guys were C tier. C tier. B tier. B tier. That's S, S, S. Dude, it's really windy outside. C dot and all them. Where were they? B tier. Shiftry was top of A tier. Swellow and Talo. Swellow was B tier. Talo was A tier. Pelipper was Pelipper S? No, Pelipper was top of A tier. Wingle, we just moved Wingle. Where'd I put Wingle? C tier. Ralts was S. Where was Curlia? Curlia was B. Ralts and Gardevoir were up here in S. Then Surskit was B. Masquerain was B. Shroomish was B. Breloom surely was A, right? Yeah, Breloom's A. These are S, S, S. Shedinja, he was B tier. This was A tier. No, Shedinja's B tier. The other one, I sorry, got the name wrong. Whismer's B tier. Loudron was bumped down to C. Exploud was A, right? Yeah, Exploud was A. Man, we were so close. We were wrapping it up too. B tier. We literally just had the pseudos and legendaries left. Then we just botched the whole thing. Combuskin. Hariyama. Makuhito was in B. Then it went him. Swellow was above Breloom. It was behind. All right, we're good. We're good. We're good. I got this. I'm just gonna put them in the tiers they belong in. Then we'll do the order after. Oh, these were C tier. Surely that was B. Sableye was S tier. If it was an S tier, Sableye, I'm putting up an S tier right now. He was A. Aeron. Then we have Lairon was A as well. Then Aggron was... Nope, don't want to change that. Aggron was S. Meditite. Where was Meditite? B tier. Medicham was A. Electric was B. Manectric was like top of B, right? Yeah, Manectric was top of B. These two were like the top of B. These guys were down in D. Roselia was B tier. These two were... That was B. Swalot got bumped down. Demoted to C. Sorry about it, Swalot. That's there. They were just missing Numel for C tier, and C tier is pretty much good. The only last one in C tier was Spoink. Alright, so C tier is done. Lunatone and Solrock were both down in B tier. Sorry about this, everyone. It reset the tier list. Sharpedo was A, surely. Wailmer, I think, was A. Wailord was S. Most definitely. Camerupt was A. Torkoal. Did I put Torkoal S? I think I did. Grumpig was D. Spindo was C. Or no, B. Sorry, B. Trapinch for Bravo were A. Flygon was S, obviously. There we go. Oh, look, we're almost done. We're almost done. Cacnea was B. Cacturne was also B, right? Yeah, Cacturne was also B. I put I just moved Swablu down, right? Yeah, Swablu's A. Altaria was S. Above Aggron. Zangoose and Surviper are both B. Barboach was the bottom of B. Whiscash was the bottom of A. Corphish was, I believe, A tier. Crawdont was... Where was Crawdont? Oh, I'm not at a spot to where Crawdont was in the thing yet. Alright, here we go. Crawdont was B. Baltoy, where was Baltoy? Baltoy was B tier. Where was Claydol? Claydol was B tier. Lileep was B. Anorith was B. Armaldo was top of B. Where's Crawdont? He was top of B. Credilli was S tier. Where'd Credilli go? Oh, there it is. Credilli was S tier. Feebas was B, I believe. Or no, A. Feebas was A. My Milotic was S tier. Easy S tier for my Milotic. My Milotic's up there in S. Castform was B tier. Again, everyone tuning in, thank you for watching. We had some technical difficulties here. The tier list reset, so we were off looking at some fish, and we were reading an article about fish, and it caused the tier list to reset. Alright, Shuppet was B. Tropius was B. The Wind Chime was B. Shuppet was top of B. I saw a comment. Zay, who's your favorite Mon in general? That's a hard question for me. I don't have like one specific answer. So, my favorite Pokemon, I can't just point to one thing and say it's my favorite. If I had to point to, if I was forced to just, if someone said, you have to pick one Pokemon, what would be your favorite? I would say Snorlax. Snorlax would be my answer if I absolutely had to pick one thing. But I'll explain why, like I'm explaining that this is I don't really have a solid answer for this. So, Lugia is my favorite legendary without a shadow of a doubt. Although, like, I don't want to say Lugia is my favorite legendary, or is my favorite Pokemon. I don't want to say a legendary is my favorite Mon. So, So I don't say Lugia is my favorite Pokemon because that, because like I just don't want to say that a legendary's my favorite. So then I look at, well, what's my favorite Pokemon design? Mega Charizard X. Mega Charizard X is without a shadow of a doubt my absolute favorite Pokemon design there is. Like, no question about that. But the thing is with that, like, I don't want to say a Mega is my favorite Pokemon when a Mega is like a form of another Pokemon. Like, I feel weird saying that is my favorite Pokemon out of everything. So, I don't say that. That, it went Feebas. Should be down here. Below Whiscash. Kecleon below Feebas. And then why not? Then Aeron's back there. These two move up here. Then Sharpedo is probably there. Alright, A tier is good pretty much. Where was Snorunt? Was in B. Towards the top of B. Shout out Snorunt. Feel and also like I also really like Metagross. Metagross is a Pokemon I've always really liked as well. My favorite is my favorite pseudo legendary for sure. And so like my answer is Metagross, Lugia, Mega Charizard X. But if I had to narrow it down to one, because I don't want to say all those, Snorlax. I like Snorlax. Snorlax is super cool. Alright, almost got the list good. Went Sharpedo, Pelipper. I think I got A tier taken care of. Let's see, where'd I put Spheal? Below Why Not? Oh, wait, no, I moved this around. I did, didn't I? So it went Trapinch, Lairon, Whiscash, Feebas, Kecleon, Why Not, then Spheal, then Vibrava, Aeron, Exploud, Swablu. There we go. Oh, I can see S tier, so I'll do S tier right now as well. We go Slacking, Roompapa, Flygon, Blaziken. Where's Gardevoir? Then I know Altaria. I remember this. Oh, it was Altaria, Aggron, Trico, Mudkip, Wailord, the big boy, Torkoal, Milotic, Sableye, Ralts. Come on, Ralts, you go behind Sableye. Then it went Marshtomp, Grovyle, Lotad, Credilli. Walrein was below Credilli. Vigoroth. There we go. S tier's good. A tier's good. Now I got to do B tier. Who do we have left down here? All right, those guys we'll do in a sec. Let's do B tier. Crawdaunt, Shuppet, Plusle and Minun. Oh, great. Now I got to find each one in here. Plusle, Minun, Dustox, Nosepass, Absol, Roselia, Snorunt. What if I'll change anything as we're doing this? Like say, wait, no, I don't think that guy should go there. I think they should go over here. Carvana, Unana, Celio. Actually, no, Celio got to get dropped down. Celio's too high up. I'll tell you that right now. It's still in B tier. I don't think it's this high in B tier, though. Shuppet. Makuhita. Where'd Makuhita go? Makuhita. Beautifly. Behind Makuhita, the little fatty. Then Mightyena. Masquerain, Manectric, that's good. Shedinja's over here. Lileep. Zangoose. Wurmple. Azuril. Cacnea. Anorith. Oh, this is testing my Poké knowledge, all the names. Poochyena. Zigzagoon. Baltoy. Surviper. Talo. The Wind Chime. Seedot. Curlia. Nuzleaf. Where is it? Gulpin. There we go. Gulpin D's nuts. That's his name. Sunkern, or I don't know. Surskit. Shroomish. The little Linkata guy. That Whismur. Yeah, I'll put Spin above Whismur. We'll change it up. There we go. Got that all good. Then it went that. Oh, look, we got it back together. Perfect. We got it perfect. Back together. Look, we fixed the tier list. Got it all back. Then it was, where did I put these guys? These were down all C tier. It went Huntail, Clamperl. Then who's the Gorbish fish? Then Relicanth and Love Disc. Where did I put Relicanth? Did I put Relicanth up in S tier? Or did I put Relicanth at the bottom of A tier? Nope. Put Relicanth in A tier below Breloom. A tier below Breloom for Relicanth. Then it was Love Disc. But I don't think I ranked Love Disc because I started... Oh, no, I did rank Love Disc. I put it at the bottom of C tier. And then we started talking about the fish. And now we are all the way back. All right, here we go. We got the tier list. There we go. It's got to be Red. Red's the GOAT. He's the best. It's got to be our boy Red. He's got to be my favorite. Red's the GOAT. All right. I apologize for the technical difficulties, but we have now reassembled, the tier list. We still have that God tier empty up there at the top. What will go up there? I wonder. Now, we enter the final portion of this tier list right here. All that remains are these pseudo-legendaries and the legendaries and mythicals technically as well. In this final section, we go through some of the coolest Pokemon of all time. These are some of the best Pokemon there are. No question about that. Starting off, we have Bagon, Shelgon, Salamence. I mean, there's no doubt about this. These are easy. Top of the list. Top of the list. S tier. No doubt. Salamence, S tier. Right there. Still going to leave him below Slacking. Bagon, S tier. I'll put him below Ralts. And then Shelgon, I'll put bottom of S tier. I'll put it below Walrein. You know, Walrein I kind of want to bump up. Let's put Walrein right there. Yeah, Walrein's good right there. There we go. I mean, Salamence, that's just, I mean, like, one of the best Pokemon of all time. I've mentioned this before. For a long time, Salamence was my favorite Pokemon. My opinions change and stuff, though, and it isn't my favorite without a doubt anymore, but it used to be. I have an awesome Salamence toy I had from when I was little, mentioning the Gen 3 toys and why I like Gen 3 so much and all that. That's one of the reasons why. I have a awesome Salamence card, a EX Salamence Delta species, water type from EX Delta species, like Salamence, has had so many cool cards over the years. The Mega isn't the best, I will note that, but Roaring Moon, the Paradox form, is phenomenal. The shiny on Salamence, I always didn't like. I always thought it was the neon green. Like, if you look up Shiny Bagon's like a neon green. I always thought it was that same shade of green, but shout out Mayo, he traded me a shiny Salamence in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And when I saw it in game, I'm like, it was like my eyes were actually open for the first time. And I looked at shiny Salamence and it wasn't the neon green. More so, it was like a mint chocolate chip green. I'm like, okay. So Salamence for me is one that I have become a much bigger fan of in recent years, you can say. Or, the shiny is one I've become a much bigger fan of recently, you can say. Then Salamence as a whole is one I've kind of become less of a fan of in recent years, although I do still really like Salamence, and Salamence for me is easy S-tier Pokemon. Easy S-tier without a shadow of a doubt. Put it up at number 2, actually, on the pseudo-legendary tier list, which to this day is the most viewed stream on the channel. But there was a Pokemon we put above Salamence on the pseudo-legendary tier list. Salamence wasn't the top dog on the pseudo-legendary tier list. There was one I put above it. That Pokemon was Metagross. Metagross is my favorite pseudo-legendary and is one of my absolute favorite Pokemon of all time. The shiny for this entire line is absolutely phenomenal. The gold and silver, like, it doesn't get much better than that. Steven Stone had a shiny Metagross. That was so awesome. Beldum, I'll put just below Bagon, and then Matang, I will put right in here. Right there's a good spot for it. But Metagross is the first God tier mon we have from Hoenn. Metagross is one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. I think it is just, I mean, again, this is my opinion right now. Like, Salamence a couple years ago, I would have had in place of Metagross. They would have literally flipped a couple years ago. But for me, Metagross, like, you look at all the pseudo-legendaries, and, like, especially as of recent, they're all just dragons. Like, you think, Dragonite, Gen 1, Dragon. Gen 2, Tyranitar. Tyranitar wasn't Dragon. Gen 3, Metagross, not Dragon, but Salamence was a Dragon. Gen 4, Garchomp, Dragon. Gen 5, Hydreigon, Dragon. Gen 6, Goodra, Dragon. Gen 7, Komodo, Dragon. Gen 8, Dragapult, Dragon. Gen 9, Baxcalibur, Dragon. All of the pseudo-legendaries are like these big bad dragons. And then you have Metagross. Like, even Tyranitar kind of looks like dragon-ish. Like, with the Godzilla-type look that it's got. All of them, like, fit into that mold of, like, cool, big, crazy dragon Pokemon. Metagross is, like, completely different than every other pseudo-legendary. It is a complete outlier, yet it stands on the same stage as all of them. And because of that, dude, I genuinely love it so much. It's like this big, psychic, robotic metal monster with one of the coolest shinies ever. When I was little, I traded for a Gold Star Metagross card, and that is one of my favorite cards in my collection to this day. So I do have a little bit of nostalgia and a soft spot for Metagross, you can say, but Metagross I just absolutely love. It is so cool. One of my favorite Pokemon of all time. Shout out Metagross. That thing is awesome. But moving on now, we have the Regis. The OG Regis. Now, recently, we have gotten some more, and we got actually another one in the next gen with Regigigas, the big bad leader of the Regis. And then, recently, with the DLCs in Sword and Shield, we had Regieleki and Regidrago. But these were the OG 3 that started it all. Regirock, Regice, and Registeel. Now, these 3 right here, I think are phenomenal, once again. This trio is so cool. I actually saw someone make, like, if these guys were in real life, and they made, like, real life renderings of them, which I thought were really cool, but, like, You know what? Are these S tier? Now I'll put these top. I'm going to put the Reggies top of A tier. Reggies are going to be top of A tier for me. And the order in which I like them, it goes Registeel, Regice, Regirock. Nah, Registeel's S tier. Who am I kidding? Registeel's S tier. Yeah, Registeel will be the outlier. The other two are going to stay at the top of A tier. The other two are top of A tier. Registeel, I just love Registeel. I think it looks so cool. Its shiny is phenomenal. Honestly, that'd be a gold star card I'd want to get. Gold star Registeel, because it's like the turquoise color. Oh, dude, it is so cool. It is so cool. Then I have Gold Star Regice. That's actually my most valuable Pokemon card I have. I didn't even realize. It's raw. I bought it for like, it was either like 30 or 40 bucks. It was years ago. This was like, I bought it like the end of X and Y. Evolutions wasn't even out yet. Or no, it was at the end of Black and White because it was during like Plasma Blast. Yeah, it was at the end of Black and White, beginning of X and Y. I don't think X and Y was out yet, now that I think of it. I think it was the end of generation number 5. On eBay, I bought a Gold Star Regice card for like 30, 40 bucks. And it was a raw card. I bought it. I've had it in like a sleeve and a binder ever since. And when I was doing a video, actually, going through my most valuable Pokemon cards of all time, I'm like, oh, surely the Gold Stars are going to be on here. So I'm looking up the price for them. And I'm looking at the price of the Regice. And like, okay, I think I have an idea for the price. But I was like, you know what, I'm going to check the condition of it first, just to make sure I'm getting like accurate data compared to the ones in the condition per my card. And I didn't realize how nice mine was. Like, I have a nice Gold Star Regice, and the price for it's probably like $300, $400. It is absolutely insane how expensive and valuable that card was. And I didn't even know. I thought it was like $100 maybe, because I didn't think it was in that good of condition. It is in really good condition, and it is worth a ton. So I kind of have a soft spot for Regice because of that. Despite that, I still have it down in 8. Do I bump it up to S tier? I'm going to leave it in A tier. I'm going to leave it with Regirock there at the top of A tier. Registeel is without a doubt my favorite of the 3, so I'm going to have Registeel up in S tier. Moving on then. We have Latios and Latias. Now, I will note, these two are cool. I always really liked the movie these were in, I remember watching when I was little. The movie with Latios and Latias. Now, Latias, I'm going to put there in A tier. Actually, I'm actually not the biggest fan of Latias, so I'm going to put it below Torchic right there. Latios, though, dude, this thing is so cool. Actually, the only legendary Pokemon I have caught so far in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. We went around and found every legendary Pokemon there is in the game. Didn't catch any of them except Latios, because I like Latios that much. Put it above Walrein. Put it above my Lotic. I'm going to leave it right there. I think that's a good spot for it up in S tier. Latios is just, it's so cool. Literally a fighter jet. Has anyone ever seen like that, the side-by-side shot? It's like the shot of Latios like leaning down, drinking water. And it's like with his wings back and everything like that. And then the side shot is literally just a fighter jet. And it's like the same thing. It's like, it's so cool, dude. Latios is such an awesome Pokemon. Like, lore-wise, should be the second fastest Pokemon there is, I believe, after only Regieleki, because Regielecki's the fastest Pokemon there will ever be, because it's literally electricity and moves at the speed of light. Unless they make a light Pokemon, a pure Lightmon. But Latios is just, it's so cool. Both their shinies are phenomenal, Latios and Latias. Latias's shiny turns orange, and Latias's shiny turns orange, and Latios's shiny turns that turquoise blue. I love that turquoise blue. That's such a cool color. Or turquoise green, actually. I would say it's more of a green on Latios. Their Mega's okay. Don't really like the Mega too much. Don't really like the shiny of the Mega too much either as well. But the normal ones, Latios, Latias, they're phenomenal Pokemon. Latios is by far my favorite out of the two and one of my favorite Pokemon ever. Now, before we get into the actual legendaries, let's hop on over. Let's do Jirachi real quick. Jirachi's one, like, I've never been the biggest fan of. This is a really popular Pokemon, though. On the Pokemon, the ratings, the ranking that we did, that we saw, that the survey from Google, Jirachi was really high up on there. Honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of Jirachi. I'm going to put it below Relicanth. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, Jirachi, it's fine for me. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I'm gonna put an A tier though because like it's cool. It's the mythical of this generation. I like how it's an eye on its stomach, right? The movie it was in was pretty cool as well. So I'll put Jirachi in A tier. I'll put it up in A tier, and then we move on to the final four of this tier list. The final four of this crazy tier list we have been doing. This might be my favorite tier list we've done with Hoenn because you guys, you can tell I love Hoenn so much. There are no bad Pokemon in Hoenn. Starting off, let's do Deoxys. Deoxys has, what, 4 different forms? Speed, attack, defense, and the normal one. All 4 forms are awesome. My favorite form, I'll note, is just the normal Deoxys. The one we see in front of us right here. Deoxys is like this space disease alien Pokemon. Like, it's so crazy, dude. Like, the type of Pokemon it is, the lore around Deoxys is absolutely insane, and I think it's so cool. Its shiny is yellow. I got one of the shiny of the normal Deoxys actually in Pokemon Go. Super hyped about that a while ago, and the constant combat between Deoxys and Rayquaza fighting up in space. That's one of the coolest parts about this all these legendaries. Like, Groudon and Kyogre are always fighting, and Rayquaza comes in to break it up. Then you have Rayquaza and Deoxys always fighting in space, and there's no one to break it up because they're 2 monsters fighting in space. Like, they are such cool Pokemon. Deoxys really kind of hammers home the space aspect of Hoenn as a whole. So Deoxys, for me, is easy S tier. Easy S tier right here. I'm putting it... do I like more than Flygon? I mean, it's a legendary, dude. I'll put it just below Flygon. Deoxys is so cool. Like, there's all these, the different, like, videos of, I'm trying to think of what they're called. Pokemon did one, like, the different, like, the main stories of Pokemon, like, one from each gen, and they did the one for Hoenn was, like, with Deoxys and all that stuff, and the shot of it fighting Rayquaza up in space, like, dude, Deoxys is so cool. The movie with Deoxys, as well, as I mentioned earlier on in this stream, I mentioned I remember Plusle and Minun from this movie, but also Deoxys from the movie, because Deoxys, there's, like, hundreds of them or something like that. Oh, Deoxys is just a phenomenal Pokemon. I love that thing so much. Then moving on over to the final... Yo, Mr. Monkey, thank you for tuning in. Moving on now to the final 3. Kyogre, Groudon, and Rayquaza. The 3 box legendaries from Hoenn. In my opinion, I would say the best legendary trio there is. These 3, I mean, come on now. Look at these guys. Just absolute monsters. Kyogre, god of the sea. I said 3 different things wrong. Kyogre, the god of the sea. Groudon, god of the land. Rayquaza, god of the sky. Or king of the sea, king of the ground, king of the land. King sounds better. Kyogre, king of the sea. Groudon, king of the land. Rayquaza, king of the sky. These 2, Kyogre and Groudon, are going at it nonstop, and Rayquaza is the one coming in to break them up time and time again. And these 3 right here are just, they're just perfect. These 3 are all so cool. The colors of the red and white on Groudon, and then the red and white on Kyogre. I mean, the blue and white on Kyogre. The colors back and forth are phenomenal. Both their shinies are really good. We obviously use shiny Groudon and the shiny only Nuzlocke. Shout out Alexander for trading us that. Like, everything about these 2, I am all in on and all here for. I love them both so much. They're both so cool. Now, here's the thing, though. You know what? I'm going to leave him right there. Oh, no. I like him more than Deoxys. And then here's another one. I mentioned this earlier with Swampert and Sceptile, how depending on the day of the week you ask me, I might give a different answer for which I like better. I'm kind of the same thing with Kyogre and Groudon. Depending on the day of the week you ask me, I might have a different answer. You ask me on Monday, hey, do you like Kyogre or Groudon better? Monday, I might say Kyogre. Then you ask me again on Thursday, I might say Groudon. Both have cool shinies. I don't necessarily love either of their shinies, but they're both fine. I will note, both of these shinies are kind of weird. Because in-game, shiny Kyogre looks like more purple. Like a purplish pink. in-game in Pokemon Go and in Scarlet and Violet. While shiny Groudon looks more like of a lime green yellow color in Pokemon Go and in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. While the cards, if you look at the Gold Star Kyogre, Gold Star Groudon, or other shiny Pokemon cards of Kyogre and Groudon, Kyogre looks more of like a red, like a pinkish red, like the color of the S and S tier right here. That's the color it looks like, while Groudon looks more of like a gold. It's so cool. Both of them, I mean, like, regardless of the colors, like, both shinies are good. And, yo, Zay, you said it perfectly. The primal forms. The primal forms are so awesome, dude. And the shinies of the primal forms, they both turn like jet black. It is so crazy, and they look so good. I absolutely love both of these things. These two Pokemon right here are absolutely insane. They're some of the best legendaries we have ever had. Although, there is a legendary from Hoenn that I put above both of them. There is a legendary from Hoenn that I regard as one of the best, not only legendary Pokemon of all time, but best Pokemon of all time. And that is Rayquaza, aka Rekuze. Rayquaza, I mean, it is the legendary Pokemon. When I did my legendary Pokemon tier list, I went Lugia, Mewtwo, Rayquaza. Rayquaza is phenomenal. And some people might put Rayquaza above Mewtwo. Some people might put Rayquaza above Lugia. I am perfectly fine with that. I think Rayquaza is such a awesome, phenomenal Pokemon. It's a giant green dragon that fights with a space alien up in the atmosphere of the Earth. Like, it doesn't get much cooler than that. Like, this thing is insane. Mega Rayquaza is absolutely, I mean, crazy. And then the shiny of it turns jet black. Gold Star Rayquaza. Gold Star Rayquaza from EX Deoxys is the second most valuable Pokemon card you can pull out of a pack, second only to first edition base set Charizard. It is absolutely insane. There is so much hype around it. Jacket, there's no way you just said Rayquaza is overrated and that Eternatus is better. Are you, you're trying to trigger me, right? You're trying to get me mad? There's no way. Eternatus is better? No. Rayquaza is him. Rayquaza is one of the best legendary Pokemon we've ever had. One of the best Pokemon we have ever had. Rayquaza, the shiny Rayquaza might be the best shiny there is. And then in the new anime right now, Horizons, like, one of the big main storylines is, like, finding the shiny Rayquaza. Like, Pokemon are just feeding us exactly what we love and want. Like, Adventure Bros, agree? Thank you. Thank you for tuning in as well. I appreciate it. Shiny Rayquaza and Rayquaza as a whole is just an elite level Pokemon. And Rayquaza is just the best Pokemon from Hoenn without a shadow of a doubt. And that is the end of the tier list right here. I'm going to go through this real quick, actually. Let's go through the whole thing. Man, dude, honestly, I've been working on the lax through video, and I have some audio I have to record for it. I feel like I feel like I sound like my voice is going from all the talking. Maybe it was because we were doing the reading stream yesterday and we read for 4 hours straight. Maybe that's why. And then we did the tier list here where we were talking nonstop the whole time. Whatever, though. It is what it is. Moving on to the bottom. As we do the recap here on the tier list. There's nothing in disgusting because there is nothing disgusting in Hoenn. There's nothing in F tier because there's no bad Pokemon in Hoenn. D tier, though, does have 3 residents with the Beetles and Grumpig, which they're not, like, bad, like I'd say, but I'd say they're below average. They're not some of my favorites. I will note that. Then in C tier, we have, like, again, these are just average Pokemon. I don't know, like, these ones I just don't feel like there's anything, like, crazy or special about them. Like, it is what it is to me. I don't dislike them. That's why they're in C tier. C tier is average, but I don't really, like them as well. B tier, though, is jam-packed because the majority of Pokemon from Hoenn are good. B tier is where it's like you look at it, it's like, yep, that's a good Pokemon. That's what B tier is made up of. Like, all these Pokemon in here, I look at and like, yep, that's a good Pokemon. I will note, some people might be upset that we have Absol down there. You can see just to the bottom left of my face cam right there, we have Absol down in B tier. Absol's just a Pokemon I've never really liked. I don't know what it is. It annoys me in Unite. I will note that. But, like, that's not the reason why I have it down there. Like, I've never been a fan of Absol. I don't know if that's just me. I don't know if there's other people like that as well. But, like I look at Absol, and Marwile's the same thing. I look at both of those. I look at them like, I feel like that's a Pokemon I should like. Actually, you know what? I want to move I forgot I said I was going to do that. Sorry, Celio, you got bumped down a bunch there. But Absol and Mawile, I look at both of them, I'm like, it looks like a Pokemon I feel like I should like and I'm supposed to like. But I don't know, I just don't. Both of them got Megas, and if I'm being honest, those are probably my 2 least favorite Megas. Like, I don't know. I've just never really liked either of them too much. It is what it is. They're down there in B tier. Those are like the 2 biggest like hot takes, I think you could say, of like stuff that I put low that some people might want higher. Then on the other hand, we have A tier up here. A tier, we get into some good stuff. We have a handful of legendaries, Regice, Regirock, Latias. We have some starters with Torchic and Combuskin. We have some awesome Final Evolution Pokemon with Shiftry. You have Hariyama. You have Medicham. You have Glalie. The regional bird, Swellow, Breloom. You have Relicanth, the fossil that came back to life or actually never died in the first place. You have the mythical Jirachi. Bunch of awesome Pokemon up here in A tier. Again, these are Pokemon I'm like, yep, those are really good Pokemon. B tier is like the good Pokemon. A tier is like where you get into some of the ones that are like, okay, those are really good, really cool. And then some of the Pokemon where you're like, these are some of the coolest Pokemon you've seen. S tier. These Pokemon are all phenomenal. I mean, Sceptile and Swampert, no doubt about that. Absolutely perfect Pokemon designs. And again, those 2 I could go back and forth with depending on the day of the week. Right now, I'm probably edging out Sceptile a bit more to put him up at the top, but like, both of them are absolutely phenomenal. Slacking as well. Have it up there towards the top. Slacking, super cool. Salamence is super cool as well. I've always really liked Salamence. Like I said, was one of my favorite Pokemon of all time for a little while there. It has fallen off a bit in my personal tier list of my favorite Pokemon, but Salamence I've always really liked as well. Then Roompapa, aka Ludicolo, got that up there. Kyogre, Groudon, Deoxys, some legendaries up there. Flygon, the Pokemon that like Flygon needs something, man. It didn't get a Mega, and like we're all still, us Pokemon fans to this day are still salty that Flygon never got a Mega, but we hope that one day it does end up getting something. Hopefully that day does come sooner rather than later. Then Blaziken up there with the last starter. Then you have Trico and Mudkip up there as well. Torkoal, Wailord, Aggron, Altaria, Milotic, Walrein, Sableye, Ralts is up there, Lotad's up there, Credilli's up there. Now, Credilli's the one that I think people might not also think would be up there, but dude, I like Credilli. Sorry. Lombre, I gotta bump down. I'm sorry. Lombre's a little too high up. I'll put him just below Jirachi. Lombre's a little too high up. I gotta bump him down there real quick, actually. Slackoth and Vigoroth and cool with being up there. Lotan cool with being up there. Lombre was a little too high. We'll bump Lombre down a bit to A tier, but the rest of S tier is just phenomenal. They're all perfect, dude. They're so cool. Everything up here is just so great. Again, Ralts is the first ever full odds shiny I found in a Pokemon game. Registeel is awesome. Latios is so cool. Sableye, I love its shiny and love its Mega. All these Pokemon up there are so good. But then God tier. My 2 favorite Pokemon from Hoenn. Metagross, my favorite pseudo-legendary of all time, and Rayquaza, one of my favorite legendaries of all time. Arguably, my 2 favorite shinies of all time with Rayquaza and Metagross. Like, these Pokemon are just peak. They're so good. They're absolutely phenomenal. And that is the Hoenn tier list. There's nothing. I'm proud that there's barely anything down here, and the majority of stuff is up here, because Hoenn is just that good of a gen, that good of a region. It is just so cool. Jacket, Pokemon Dimensions, where all Pokemon get an extra evolution, would be awesome. That would be pretty cool, huh? They do something like that. Apparently, there's some crazy rumors of what's coming for the Pokemon Day announcement. There's some crazy stuff going on with what people are talking about for that. But we'll mention that. I'll talk about that more a bit in depth in like a different stream. That is all for this stream right here. I'm going to end this stream, go to the bathroom, come back, fire up another stream, and we're gonna play Unite for about like an hour and a half. Just chill, hang out, and play Unite for a little bit. As for the Hoenn tier list right here, that is all. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you all so much for taking the time to watch. I'm gonna end this stream and start a new one up just in like a couple of minutes from now. Like I said, by like 10-15 minutes, we'll start another stream. That is all for this, though. To everyone that took the time to tune in, thank you so much for watching. To those watching the replay of the stream, let me know your thoughts on the tier list in the comment section down below. And to everyone that took the time to tune in, Zay, Psyduck Pro, Jacket, Stupid, Mr. Monkey, Adventure Bros, Puffton, thank you for tuning in earlier. Inteleon, Kevin Hernandez, Tom Wanders, Catch Up, thank you for tuning in. Everyone that took the time to tune in. Thank you all so very much. I greatly appreciate it. That is all for this stream. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe.